caste and scheduled tribe, Dalits and Adivasis are far below than the national average. So in terms of accessing education, as we all know, like, even to get into college is pretty difficult for our own students. And like after they get into college also, they have to face a lot of hardships in terms of like, continuing with their education. Access doesn't determine only their entry to the college level. When the ordinary undergraduate level of program, the statistics, the Government of India statistics says this way, we can imagine the professional education also. Even Supreme Court has given direction that it is the responsibility of the government to ensure the access of the marginalized students to professional education. So we all know the popular case of Rohit Vemula. Even after going through a lot of struggle, hardships, he came to the level of PhD, but then like, he couldn't complete his PhD just because of the system which is existing here, how the whole institution worked against, and how even the government was against one particular scholar. So it's not that easy for our own students to even get into college and also to continue their education. The other highlighting point that I wanted to mention, like, even before listening to the students, is like, already we had a pattern of exclusion where we were not able to access education, and the root lies with the Manu Smriti, the root lies with the Varna system and all. But even in a postmodern India, like, access was not that easy. Access to especially higher education was not that easy. Post 1991, our students have to face an extra burden or hardship due to the privatization of higher education on the whole. Though we say we have affirmative policies, we have reservation and other stuff, when the entire college is being privatized, our students being the first generation, coming from the background of intergenerational poverty, face a lot of difficulties. Very, very currently, recently, our students have the multiple burden of facing the new education policy also. So I'm sure like the sharings will also throw light on this whole point of privatization of education and how it is affecting Dalit students, and also how this new education policy is actually visualized. And I'm sure it is a great challenge for our own students. So with this, I will just stop. And then as it's been told, like we have our own friends Kezia, Lalita, Kamesh, Deena Dayalan and Prem Kumar. So I was told like we will be listening to their audio. Then we will have a session where we will open the floor for question and answer, which I will also moderate. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Samala. Nikhil, we can have the video now.
మాది పెద్దవంగలి గ్రామం, చాగలమరి మండలం, కర్నూలు జిల్లా. మేము మాది చాగలమరి పక్కన ఒక మారుమూల గ్రామం. మా ఊర్లో మా ఇల్లులు ఊరికి వెలుపల ఉన్నాయి. బయట మేము ఒక చిన్న కాలనీలో ఉంటున్నాం, ఎస్సీ కాలనీలో. ఊరికి దూరంగా ఈ కాలనీ ఉంది. కాలనీలో ఓన్లీ ఎస్సీ వాళ్ళు మాత్రమే ఉంటారు. ఊర్లో బలిజ వాళ్ళు, రెడ్డి వాళ్ళు, యాదవులు వాళ్ళు ఉంటారు. మేము ఎస్సీ కాలనీలో మా ఎస్సీ వాళ్ళు మాత్రమే ఉంటారు. మా ఊర్లో 2 స్కూళ్ళు ఉన్నాయి. ఒకటి ఊర్లో ఒక స్కూల్ ఉంది, ఎస్సీ కాలనీలో ఇంకొక స్కూల్ ఉంది. ఊర్లో స్కూల్కి బలిజ వాళ్ళు, రెడ్డి వాళ్ళు వెళ్తారు. మా స్కూల్లో మా ఎస్సీ వాళ్ళు మాత్రమే వెళ్తారు. ఊర్లో ఉండే స్కూల్లో 5 రూమ్లు ఉండేవి, 5 మంది టీచర్లు చెప్పేవాళ్ళు సబ్జెక్ట్ చెప్పడానికి. మాకు మాత్రం ఒక రూమ్ మాత్రమే ఉండేది. ఒక టీచర్ సారే మొత్తం అన్ని సబ్జెక్టులు చెప్పేవాళ్ళు. ఫస్ట్ మాకు అసలు అది బడి ఏం లేదు, చర్చిలో చెప్పేవాళ్ళు. తర్వాత ఒక రూమ్ లాగా చర్చి పక్కన కట్టించి అందులో చెప్తున్నారు. 1 to 5 అక్కడనే చదువుకున్నాను. మా అమ్మ మా నాన్న ఏం చదువుకోలేదు. మా నాన్న త్రాగుబోతు. మా అమ్మ ఒక్కతే మమ్మల్ని కష్టపడి చదివించింది. తన కష్టం చూడలేక మేము కూడా చదువుకోవాలని ఆశ మాలో కలిగింది. తనలాగా మేము కూలి పనులకు వెళ్ళకూడదని మమ్మల్ని చదివించింది. 1 to 5 వరకు మేము ఆ స్కూల్లోనే చదువుకున్నాము, ప్రైమరీ స్కూల్లో. మాకు తినడానికి అన్నం కారం మాత్రమే ఉండేది. ఏం గుడ్లు, పౌష్టికాహారం ఎటువంటి పోషణ మాకు లేదు. ఆ స్కూల్లో తాగడానికి మంచినీరు కూడా అంత బాగుండేది కాదు. కలుషితమైన నీరు కూడా ఉండేది. మాకు తాగడానికి సరైన వసతులు కూడా లేవు. 6 నుంచి 10 వరకు చిన్నొంగలి స్కూల్లో చదివాను. చిన్నొంగలి మా ఊరి పక్క ఒక పల్లె. అది 2 కిలోమీటర్ల పైనే మా ఊరి నుంచి దూరం ఉంది. అందరు పిల్లలు సైకిల్లో వెళ్ళేవారు, ఊర్లో వాళ్ళ పిల్లలు. నేను మాత్రం నడుచుకుంటూ పోయేదాన్ని. మా అమ్మ అప్పుడు చదివించేదే ఎక్కువ. నేను మాత్రం సైకిల్ లేదు కాబట్టి నడుచుకుంటూ పోయేదాన్ని. మాకు చదివించేదే ఎక్కువ, సైకిల్ కొనిచ్చేంత స్తోమత మాకు లేదు. 6-7 క్యారీ తీసుకుపోయేదాన్ని. మాకు మధ్యాహ్నం అన్నం కూడా పెట్టేవాళ్ళు కాదు. 8లో ఉన్నప్పుడు నాకు మధ్యాహ్నం అన్నం పెడుతున్నారు స్కూల్లో, అక్కడనే తింటున్నాము. ఒక్కొక్కసారి మేము 6th 7th క్యారీ తీసుకుపోయేటప్పుడు మటుకు ఒక్కొక్కసారి క్యారీలోకి అన్నం కూడా ఉండేది కాదు. అట్నే పోయేవాళ్ళం. మా కాలనీ ఫ్రెండ్స్ మాకు అన్నం పెడితే మేము తినేవాళ్ళము. ఊర్లో వాళ్ళు అన్నం తినేటప్పుడు వాళ్ళు ఒక గ్రూప్ లాగా తింటారు, మేము ఒక గ్రూప్ లాగా, కాలనీ ఫ్రెండ్స్ ఒక గ్రూప్ లాగా తింటాము. వాళ్ళు మా కాలనీ ఫ్రెండ్స్ మేము అన్నం తీసుకోకపోకపోయినా మాకు కొంచెం అన్నం పెట్టేవాళ్ళు, తిని ఎన్నో కొట్ట చదువుకునే వాళ్ళం. ఊర్లో మేము కల్పించుకునేది మాత్రమే, టీచర్లది ఏం లేదు. క్లాస్ రూమ్లో మటుకు అందరం కలిసి కూర్చునే వాళ్ళం. వాళ్ళు కలిసిమెలిసి కూర్చునే వాళ్ళము. మాకు బెంచ్ లేవు, కిందనే ఎప్పుడన్నా ఆగస్టు 15 జనవరి 26 వచ్చినప్పుడు వాళ్ళు సాంగ్స్ పాడడం, కల్చరల్ యాక్టివిటీస్ ఎక్కువ చేసేవాళ్ళు. నేను మాత్రం నాకు కూడా స్టేజ్ ఎక్కి స్పీచ్లు ఇవ్వాలని, పాటలు పాడడం, ప్లెడ్జ్ చెప్పడం ఇట్లా ఉండేది ఇంట్రెస్ట్. కానీ మమ్మల్ని ఎక్కించేవాళ్ళు కాదు. ఎక్కువ ఊర్లో పిల్లలు, బలిజ పిల్లలు ఎక్కువ వాళ్ళే ముందంజలో ఉండేవాళ్ళు, మాకు వెనుకంజ వేసేవాళ్ళు. మేము తక్కువ వాళ్ళమని మమ్మల్ని చిన్న చూపు చూసేవాళ్ళు. మేము అందుకు చాలా ఫీల్ అయితే ఉన్నాము. అయినా కానీ మేము బాగా మంచి చదువుకొని 6th 10th వరకు హై స్కూల్లో చదువుకున్నాను, చిన్నంగల్ హై స్కూల్లో. మంచి పర్సంటేజ్ కూడా వచ్చింది. ఇంటర్లో చాల్మార్లో చదువుకున్నాను. మా ఊరు నుంచి చాల్మార్కి 8 కిలోమీటర్ల పైనే దూరం ఉంది. డైలీ ఆటోలో వెళ్ళి వచ్చేది. రోజు 30 రూపాయలు ఖర్చు అయ్యేది. మా అమ్మ ఫీజుల కోసం, ఛార్జీల కోసం చాలా ఖర్చు చేసింది, అప్పులు పెట్టింది. అప్పులు చేసి ఇబ్బందులు పడి మమ్మల్ని చదివించింది. మా అమ్మ కష్టాలను చూడలేక మాకు కూడా చదువుకోవాలని మేము చదువుకున్నాము. మంచిగా చదువుకొని ఏదైనా ఉద్యోగం చేయాలని ఆశపడ్డాము. నేను డిగ్రీ కూడా చాల్మార్లోనే చదువుకున్నా. డైలీ ఆటోలో వెళ్ళి ఆటోలో వచ్చేది. డిగ్రీలో బీజెడ్స్ చదివాను, బాటనీ, జువాలజీ, కెమిస్ట్రీ మెయిన్ సబ్జెక్టులు. నేను ప్రజెంట్ బీఈడీ చదవాలనుకుంటున్నాను. ఇలాంటి మా ఊర్లో మేము ఇట్లా మా దళిత విద్యార్థులుగా మేము ఇలాంటి ఎన్నో డైలీ చూసి పెరిగాము మేము. ఇంకా ఆటోలో డిగ్రీలో చదివేటప్పుడు ఆటోలో ఎవరైనా మా ఊర్లో వాళ్ళు ఉంటే మేము వాళ్ళ కోసం లేచి నిలబడే వాళ్ళము. వాళ్ళకు రెస్పెక్ట్ ఇచ్చేవాళ్ళం. వాళ్ళ ముందే కూర్చునే దానికి లేదు, మేము లేచి వాళ్ళకి సీట్ ఇచ్చేవాళ్ళం. ఇంటికి వచ్చేంత వరకు నిలబడుకొని వచ్చేవాళ్ళము. ఇంకా మా అమ్మ వాళ్ళు వాళ్ళ పొలంలోకే పనులకు పోతున్నారు. వాళ్ళు పోయేటప్పుడు ఎప్పుడన్నా పనులు ఉన్నాయని మా ఇంటి దగ్గరికి చెప్పనీకి వచ్చినప్పుడు, రేపు రాండి ఇట్లా పని ఉంది అని చెప్పనీకి వచ్చినప్పుడు, మేము పిల్లలం అప్పుడు చిన్నపిల్లప్పుడు అందుకు మంచాల మీద కూర్చుంటున్నాం తెలియకుండా. మా అమ్మ వాళ్ళు లేపుతున్నారు. వాళ్ళు వచ్చినప్పుడు ఇట్లా కూర్చోద్దు మంచాల మీద, వాళ్ళు పెద్దవాళ్ళు కదా, వాళ్ళ ముందర కూర్చోద్దు, మనం తక్కువ వాళ్ళము, మనం ఏం లేని వాళ్ళం కదా అని చెప్తున్నారు. మేము అప్పుడు చాలా బాధపడుతున్నాం. ఇలాంటివన్నీ మేము చూసి పెరిగాము. ఇంకా హాలిడేస్లో పనులకు వెళ్ళేటప్పుడు మాకు దోసిట్లో నీళ్లు పోసేవాళ్ళు, సపరేట్గా గ్లాస్ కూడా ఇచ్చేవాళ్ళు కాదు. మాలోని ఆత్మవిశ్వాసం తగ్గిపోయింది. మేము తక్కువ వాళ్ళం కదా అని మాకు ఏ దానికి ముందుకు పోనీకి మాకు అంత ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఉండేది కాదు. మేము ఎప్పుడు సైలెంట్గా వెనుకంజలోనే ఉండేవాళ్ళము. ఏం అవకాశాలు మాకు లేవు. ఎక్కువ బలిజ వాళ్ళకు అవకాశాలు ఎక్కువ ఉన్నాయి. మేము ప్రజెంట్ బాగా మంచి ధైర్యంగా మాలో కాన్ఫిడెంట్ లెవెల్స్ పెంచుకొని మేము ఏదైనా పోటీ పరీక్షలు రాసుకోవాలని మాకు అనుకుంటున్నాము. ప్రజెంట్ నేను బీఈడీ చదవాలనుకుంటున్నాను. దానికి ఫీజు అవసరం ఉంది. నేను టీచర్ కావాలని అనుకుంటున్నాను, ఆశపడుతున్నాను. ఇలాంటి ఒక అవకాశాన్ని ఇచ్చినందుకు థ్యాంక్ యూ.
ஹலோ, என் பேர் லலிதா. நான் காலேஜ் ஃபஸ்ட் இயர் படிக்கிறேன். மெட்ராஸ் கிறிஸ்டின் காலேஜில் பிஏ பொலிட்டிக்கல் சயின்ஸ் படிக்கிறேன். எங்கள் அப்பாவும் எங்கள் மம்மியும் 2 பேரும் படிக்கல. எங்கள் அப்பா ஒரு ப்ரைவேட் ஸ்கூலில் மேனேஜ் மேனேஜராக ஒர்க் பண்ணுறாரு. எங்கள் மம்மி ஹவுஸ் ஒய்ஃபாக இருக்காங்க. ஸோ நான் ஸ்கூல் எங்கே படித்தேன்னா, எங்கள் அப்பா ஒரு ப்ரைவேட் ஸ்கூலில் ஒர்க் பண்ணுறாரு, அங்கே தான் படித்தேன். ஏன் எங்கள் அப்பா அந்த ஸ்கூலில் ஒர்க் பண்ணுறாருன்னா, எனக்கு ஒரு பிரதர் ஒரு சிஸ்டர் இருக்காங்க. எல்டர் பிரதர் எல்டர் சிஸ்டர். இப்போது எங்கள் அக்கா எம்பிஏ படிக்கிறாங்க. எங்கள் அண்ணா காலேஜ் 3rd இயர் படிக்கிறாங்க. ஸோ நாங்கள் 3 பேரும் அந்த ப்ரைவேட் ஸ்கூலில் படித்தா கொஞ்சம் நல்லா படிப்போம்னு சொல்லிட்டு எங்கள் அப்பா அந்த ஸ்கூல்லையே ஸ்கேவெஞ்சராக வேலைக்கு சேர்ந்து எங்களையும் அங்கேயே படிக்க வச்சாரு. ஸோ படிக்கும்போது 12th வரைக்கும் அங்கேயே படித்தோம். அங்கே வேலை செய்கிறவங்களுக்கு ஸ்டாஃப் சைல்டாக இருந்தால் கிரேட் படி ஃபீஸ் கட்டணும்னு சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கோம். ஸோ நாங்கள் நல்லா படிக்கிறதால நிறைய வாட்டி நல்ல கிரேட் எடுக்கிறதால ஃபீஸ் கட்டாமலே கொஞ்சம் படித்தோம். ஏன்னா அங்கே கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷன் இருந்தது. ஸோ அப்படி போனது. ஸ்கூல் சக்ஸஸ்ஃபுல்லாக 12th வரைக்கும் முடித்தோம். ஸ்கூல் படிக்கும்போதும் அங்கே கொஞ்சம் டிஸ்கிரிமினேஷன்ஸ் இருக்கும், பர்சனலாக இருக்கும். ஏன்னா எங்கள் அப்பா அங்கேயே வேலை செய்வார். எங்கள் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் எங்ககிட்ட கேட்டால் எங்களுக்கு கொஞ்சம் ஷையாக இருக்கும். என்ன வேலை பார்க்குறாங்க உங்கள் அப்பா அப்படி சொல்லிட்டு கேட்பாங்க. ஆனால் நான் என்ன சொல்லுவேன்னா எலக்ட்ரிஷியன் தான் ஒர்க் பண்ணுறாரு அப்படி சொல்லுவேன். பிகாஸ் எப்படி சொல்லலாம், எங்கள் அப்பா பாத்ரூம் கழுவுற வேலை பார்க்குறாரு சொல்லிட்டு எப்படி சொல்லலாம் சொல்லிட்டு ரொம்ப ஷையாக இருக்கும். அது மட்டும் இல்லாமல் ஸ்கூல் படிக்கும்போதும் அது ஒரு ப்ரைவேட் ஸ்கூல் இருக்கிறதால ஸோ என்ன மாதிரி ஷெட்யூல் கேஸ்ட் பசங்கள்லாம் இருக்க மாட்டாங்க. நல்ல 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 அவங்க மம்மி டேடி படித்தவங்க, ஸோ அந்த பேக்ரவுண்டில் தான் இருப்பாங்க. ஸோ அவங்க படிக்கிறதும் நான் வந்து ஸ்கூலில் படிக்கிறத விட அவ்வளோதான். டியூஷன்லாம் ஃபீஸ் கட்டி படிக்கிறதும் இல்லைன்னா எங்கள் அப்பா அம்மா சொல்லி கொடுக்குறதும் அதெல்லாம் இருக்காது. பிகாஸ் ஃபீஸும் எங்களால் அஃபோர்ட் பண்ண முடியாது, எங்கள் மம்மி டேடியும் படிச்சிருக்க மாட்டாங்க. ஸோ அதனாலே நான் வந்து என் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸும் நானும் ஒரே நாலேஜாக இருந்தாலும் அவங்க வந்து நல்லா டியூஷன் போயிட்டு எல்லாம் படிச்சுட்டு நல்ல கிரேட் நல்ல இன்னும் நிறைய மார்க்ஸ் சென்டம் அப்படின்லாம் ஸ்கோர் பண்ணாங்க. ஸோ எப்படியோ சக்ஸஸ்ஃபுல்லாக நான் வந்து 12th கம்ப்ளீட் பண்ணேன். இப்போ வந்து காலேஜ் சேரும்போது வந்து ரொம்ப ரொம்ப கொஞ்சம் எங்கள் டேடிக்கு ரொம்ப கஷ்டமாக இருந்தது காலேஜ் ஃபீஸ் கட்ட. ஏன்னா காலேஜ் அட்மிஷன் கிடைச்ச உடனே ஒரு 2 டேஸ்க்குள்ளேயே கட்டிடணும் அப்படியெல்லாம் இருக்கும். ஸோ அப்படி இருக்கும்போது வந்து ரொம்ப கஷ்டப்பட்டோம். அட்மிஷன்ஸும் கிடைக்கல எங்களுக்கு எங்கள் காலேஜில். ஆனாலும் எங்களுக்கு வந்து எனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச மேடம் வந்து ஹெல்ப் பண்ணாங்க. ஸோ அட்மிஷன் கிடைச்சிது. அந்த ஃபீஸும் வந்து எங்களால் கட்ட முடியாத நிலைமையிலையும் எங்கள் சர்ச் பாஸ்டர் வந்து எங்களுக்கு ஹெல்ப் பண்ணார். ஸோ வந்து நாங்கள் கட்டிட்டோம். இப்போ காலேஜ்லேயும் பார்த்திங்கன்னா எல்லோரும் வந்து நாங்கள் படிக்கிற காலேஜ்லையும் நிறைய ஸ்டேட்ஸ்லேருந்து வருவாங்க. ஸோ அவங்க எல்லாருமே நல்ல ட்ரெஸ் எல்லாம் பண்ணிட்டு வருவாங்க. பட் எங்களை பார்த்தாலே அவங்களுக்கு தெரியும் இவங்கெல்லாம் ஷெட்யூல் கேஸ்ட் சொல்லிட்டு. ஏன்னா எங்கள் ட்ரெஸ்ஸிங்ஸ் அப்படி இருக்கும். அதெல்லாம் சில நேரத்தில் வந்து ரொம்ப கஷ்டமாக இருக்கும். அது மட்டும் இல்லாமல் இப்போ வந்து எங்கள் காலேஜில் வந்து வெறும் நோட்ஸ் தருவாங்க, ஸ்டடி மெட்டீரியல்ஸ் எல்லாம் தரமாட்டாங்க, நாங்களே வெளியில் வாங்கிக்கணும். ஸோ இதுவும் கஷ்டமாக இருக்கும். ஏன்னா புக்ஸ் எல்லாம் ஒவ்வொரு புக்கும் 500 அப்படி இருக்கும். ஸோ எங்களுக்கு அந்த 500ன்றது ரொம்ப பெரிய மணி. ஸோ எங்களால் புக்ஸ் வாங்கி படிக்க முடியாது. அது வந்து கஷ்டமாக இருக்கும். ஃபோனில் பார்த்து தான் படிக்கணும். ஆனால் ஃபோனில் வந்து அவைலபிளாக இருக்காது. ஏன்னா ஃபோனில் பிடிஎஃப் வாங்கணுன்னாலும் பே பண்ணணும். ஸோ அப்படி இருக்கும். கூகுள்லேயும் சரியான இன்ஃபர்மேஷன்ஸ் நிறைய இருக்காது. கிடைச்சாலும் நிறைய இருக்கும். புக்ஸில் கிடைக்கிற மாதிரி சம்மரைஸ் பண்ணுற மாதிரி இருக்காது. ஸோ இதெல்லாம் கஷ்டமாக இருக்கும். அப்புறம் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் கூட நிறைய பேர் கேங்காக இருப்பாங்க. நிறைய பேர் எங்கள் கூட சேர மாட்டாங்க. அது எல்லாமே கஷ்டமாக இருக்கும். இனிமேலும் அவங்க ப்ரெசன்டேஷன்லாம் இருக்கும். எங்கள் காலேஜில் வந்து ப்ரெசன்டேஷன் பண்ணணும்னு சொல்லிட்டு ப்ரெசன்டேஷன் பண்ணுறதுக்கும் எங்கள் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் கிட்டலாம் லேப்டாப்ஸ்லாம் இருக்கும். பட் எங்கள் கிட்டலாம் லேப்டாப்ஸ்லாம் இருக்காது. அதுவும் கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டமாக இருக்கும். ஃபோனில் வந்து ப்ரெசன்டேஷன் பண்ணணும்னா ரொம்ப நம்ம க்ரியேட் பண்ணலாம், பட் அங்கே போய்ட்டு டிஸ்பிளே பண்ண முடியாது. ஸோ இதெல்லாம் கஷ்டம். இதெல்லாம் நினைக்கும் போது எனக்கு தோணும், நம்ம வந்து ஷெட்யூல் கேஸ்ட்டாக இருக்கும், நம்ம மம்மி டேடியால் அஃபோர்ட் பண்ண முடியல, அதனால தான் இதெல்லாம் சொல்லிட்டு அப்படி தோணும். அது மட்டும் இல்லாமல் இப்போ வந்து நிறைய ஸ்காலர்ஷிப்ஸ் இருக்குது. பட் நாங்கள் ஷெட்யூல் கேஸ்ட்டாக இருந்தாலும் கிறிஸ்டியன், அதனால எங்களுக்கு வந்து பிசி தான் கேஸ்ட் சர்டிஃபிகேட் தந்தாங்க. ஸோ அதனாலே நிறைய ஸ்காலர்ஷிப்க்கு வந்து நாங்கள் குவாலிஃபை ஆகலை. அதனாலே நிறைய ரிஜெக்ட் ஆகிட்டோம். இனிமேலும் வந்து என்னோடய எய்ம் வந்து ஐஏஎஸ் ஆகணும்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஐஏஎஸ் ஆகுறதுக்கும் நிறைய டெய்லி கரண்ட் அஃபேர்ஸ் எல்லாம் படிக்கிறேன். பட் இப்போ வந்து செகண்ட் இயர்லேருந்து இன்ஸ்டியூட் சேர்ந்தால் கரெக்டாக இருக்கும். இப்போ நான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இயர் படிக்கிறேன். ஜூலையில் வந்து செகண்ட் இயர் போவேன். ஸோ அதுக்கும் வந்து எனக்கு நிறைய பணம் தேவை இருக்குது. பட் எனக்கு என்ன பண்ணணும், யார்கிட்ட கேட்கணும்னு தெரியல. இருந்தும் எப்படியாச்சும் நான் வந்து கரெக்டாக படித்து நான் வந்து ஐஏஎஸ் ஆவேன். என்ன மாதிரி ஷெட்யூல் கேஸ்ட் பசங்களுக்கு வந்து கண்டிப்பாக ஹெல்ப் பண்ணுவேன். தேங்க்யூ.
ஹலோ எவ்ரிவன், என் பேர் காமேஷ். தாம்பரம் கருவதுபுரம்ன்ற ஏரியாவில் வரேன். அப்பா பேர் ஏழுமலை, அம்மா பேர் வந்து தனலட்சுமி. அவங்க 2 பேர் கலப்பு திருமணம் தான். நான் கல்யாண பஸ்ஸில் 2 பேரும் வந்து ஓடி வந்தால் கிளம்பிட்டாங்க. பெரிய சண்டைலாம் போட்டு தான் அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் மேரேஜ் எல்லாம் பண்ணி. மேரேஜ் ஆன ஒரு நான் பிறக்கிற வரையும் அம்மாவோட அப்பா அம்மா வந்து பேச மாட்டாங்க. சுத்தமாக டச்சில் நான் பிறந்ததை கற்று, அப்புறம் என் தம்பி பிறந்ததை கற்று தான் கொஞ்சமாச்சும் பேச ஆரம்பித்தாங்க. அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் நல்லா பேசினாங்க. அப்போ கூட அம்மாவோட அப்பா அம்மா வந்து எங்கள் வீட்டுக்கு வர மாட்டாங்க. நான் பிறந்து நல்லா பேசும்போது கூட அதுக்கப்புறம் கூட வந்ததில்லை. ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி தான் போச்சு. இப்போ அப்பாவோட அப்பா அம்மா 2 பேரும் இல்லை, அது ஃபுல்லாக அப்பா வந்து ஆட்டோ டிரைவர், அம்மா வந்து லேப் டெக்னீஷியன். அப்பா படிக்கல, அம்மா வந்து டிப்ளமோ வரையும் படிச்சிருக்காங்க, லேப் டெக்னீஷியன். நாங்கள் இருக்கிற ஏரியா வந்து ஃபுல்லாக எங்களை மாதிரி இருக்கிற நார்மலான இருக்கிறவங்கன்னா. ஸோ ஏரியாவை பொறுத்த வரையும் இந்த மாதிரி பிரிவினை அந்த மாதிரிலாம் எதுவும் இல்லை, மோஸ்ட்டாக பிரிவினை இல்லை. நான் படித்த ஸ்கூல் வந்து காட்டு ஹையர் செகண்டரி ஸ்கூல், சேம் ஏரியா தாம்பரத்தில் தான் இருக்குது. அங்கேயும் என்ன 90% 95% எல்லா மாதிரி சேம் எஸ்சி அதில் இருக்கிறவங்க தான் படிக்கிறாங்க. ஸோ அந்த இடத்துல வந்து நான் நிறைய எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் பண்ணல. ஒரே ஒரு இன்சிடென்ட் தவிர, நான் 7th படிக்கும் போது வந்து ஒரு பிராமின் பையன் இருந்தான், பேர் கூட நம்பல. ஸோ வந்து பிராமின் பையன் தான். நான் லன்ச் டைம் அப்போ எல்லோரும் ஷேர் பண்ணி தான் சாப்பிடுவோம். அப்போ அதே மாதிரி லன்ச் டைம் அப்போ ஒரு நாள் லன்ச் டைம் அப்போ என் ஃப்ரெண்டு வந்து நாங்கள்லாம் ஒரே இது தானே. ஸோ வந்து என் ஃப்ரெண்டு வந்து அவங்க பிராமணோட சாப்பாடை கொஞ்சம் சாப்பிட்டான். ஸோ உடனே அவன் என்ன பண்ணால் சாப்பாடு மூடி வச்சுட்டு போயிட்டான். அப்போ வந்து ஒன்றுமே புரியல. அது வந்து ஃபஸ்ட்டு இன்சிடென்ட். எனக்கு அந்த மாதிரி எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் எதுவும் பண்ணதில்லை. நான் பிறந்தது அது ஃபஸ்ட் டைம் எனக்கு அப்படி பார்க்குறது. ஸோ அதுக்கடுத்தது அவன்கிட்ட நாங்கள் எதுவும் பேச்சு வச்சுக்கல, அவனும் கிட்ட எதுவும் பேச மாட்டான். ஸோ அவன் தனியாக இருப்பான். 8th போயிட்டான், இப்போ ஸ்கூலுக்கிட்டே போயிட்டான். அதோட அவனை பார்க்கறதில்ல, அவனை பற்றி அவன் ஃபேஸ் கூட மறந்துச்சு. அந்த மாதிரி ஃபுல்லாக ஒரு டச்சே இல்லாமல் போயிடுச்சு சுத்தமாக. அதுக்கடுத்து 10th 11th 12th முடிக்கிற வரையும் ஃபுல்லாக நார்மலாக எல்லோரும் ஒரே மாதிரி எல்லாம் கரெக்டாக போச்சு. தென் காலேஜ் ஸ்டார்ட் ஆகும்போது தான் கோவிட். ஸோ ஃபுல்லாக சேலஞ்சிங்காக இருந்துச்சு. ஏன்னா 12th முடிக்கும் போது எனக்கு வந்து புது சிலபஸ். ஸோ அப்போ எனக்கு ஒரு ஐடியாவும் இல்லை. 10th புது சிலபஸ், நான் வரும்போது தான் புது சிலபஸ், அதை பற்றி ஒரு ஐடியாவும் இல்லை. 12th புதுசு. ஸோ அப்போ ஒரு ஐடியாவும் இல்லை எனக்கு. அண்டு 11th சரி இதெல்லாம் கஷ்டப்பட்டு முடிச்சாச்சு, 12th முடிச்சாச்சு. சரி காலேஜ்லையாச்சும் ஃப்ரெஷ்ஷாக போய் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணலான்னு பார்த்தா கோவிட். ஸோ அப்ளிகேஷன் வந்து ஆன்லைனில் போடணும், அதுவும் ஒரு ஐடியாவும் இல்லை. என்கிட்ட வந்து என்கிட்ட ஃபோன் இல்லை, அப்பாகிட்ட மட்டும் ஒரே ஃபோன் இருந்துச்சு. அம்மாவோட வந்து பேசிக் மொபைல், அதில் வந்து எதுவும் பண்ண முடியாது. ஸோ வந்து அப்பா அது அப்ளிகேஷன் போகலாம் ட்ரை பண்ணும்போது அப்ளிகேஷன் அப்போல்லாம் கஷ்டப்பட்டு எல்லாத்தையும் டைப் பண்ணி முடிச்சுட்டு பேப்பர்ட்டு போக ஃபுல் பிளாங்க் ஆகிடும். நம்ம அப்படியே ஃபுல்லாக மட்டும் ஃபில் பண்ணோம். மறுபடியும் நான் அது மாதிரி 5 times 10 times கிட்ட வரையும் ட்ரை பண்ண அப்ளிகேஷன் மொபைல் வழியாக போகவே முடியல. அண்ட் தென் இது மொபைலில் ஒர்க் ஆகாது சொல்லிட்டு நெட் சென்டருக்கு போனோம். நெட் சென்டரில் போய்ட்டு அப்ளிகேஷன் போட்டோம். அப்ளிகேஷன் போட்டுட்டு அப்ளிகேஷனோட ப்ரைஸ் வந்து 150 தான். நாளைக்கு இதுக்கு 150 200 சம்திங் தான். ஆனால் அவங்க வந்து அவரோட நெட் ஃபீஸு, ஸோ அவரோட ஒர்க்கிங் ஃபீஸோட சேர்த்து 300 கிட்ட வாங்கிட்டாங்க. ஸோ வந்து என்னால் அடுத்தது வேறு காலேஜுக்கு அப்ளிகேஷன் போட முடியல. ஸோ எக்ஸிசி மட்டும் தான் என்னோடய ஒன்லி ஹோப்பாக இருந்துச்சு. ஸோ ரொம்ப கஷ்டப்பட்டு தான் எனக்கு சீட்லாம் கிடச்சிது. ரொம்ப அலந்தோம், அதுக்கு சீட் கிடச்சிருச்சு. கடைசி லிஸ்ட்டாக தான் என் பேர் வந்துச்சு. ஸோ எப்படியோ கிடச்சிருச்சு. அண்ட் தென் எல்லா ஃபார்மாலிட்டிஸ் முடிச்சுட்டு இப்போ ஆன்லைன் கிளாஸ் நெக்ஸ்ட் டே எனக்கு அதுக்கு முன்னாடி தான் எனக்கே ஃபோன் கிடச்சிது. அப்போவும் எனக்கு அந்த ஃபோன் கிடச்சது ரொம்ப கஷ்டமாக தான் கிடச்சிது. வெளியிலேருந்து காசு வாங்கிட்டா என்னோட ஃபோனே வாங்குறாங்க. அதுக்கடுத்து சில இஎம்ஐ, அது வெளியிலேருந்து காசு வாங்கிட்டு அப்போது இஎம்ஐ தான். ஸோ அப்போ ஃபோன் ஆகுது கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டம் தான். ஸோ ஃபோன் வாங்கிட்டு எப்படி ஆன்லைனில் வந்து ஃபஸ்ட் டைம் அது எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ்னால எப்படி ஆன்லைனில் பண்ணணும், எப்படி நான் இமெயில் ஐடிக்கு எப்படி அவங்க இமெயில் ஐடி கொடுப்பாங்க, எந்த இமெயில் ஐடியில் நான் போகணும், எப்படி நான் ஜிபீட் ஜாயின் பண்ணணும், ஒரு ஐடியாவும் இல்லை. ஸோ வந்து ஒரு 1 week கிட்ட பெரிய சேலஞ்சாக இருந்துச்சு. அந்த ஜிபீட் அந்த ஆன்லைன் கிளாஸ் வந்து பெரிய சேலஞ்சாக இருந்துச்சு. தென் அது பிக்கப் பண்ணுறதுக்கு 1 week மேலே ஆச்சு. அது ஸ்லோவாக நான் பிக்கப் பண்ணிட்டேன். அப்படியே ஃபஸ்ட் செம் வந்துடுச்சு. அப்போ அப்படியே ஒரு சேலஞ்ச் வந்துடுச்சு. அந்த சேலஞ்ச் என்னென்னா ஆன்லைன் எக்ஸாம். அதுவும் எனக்கு ஆன்லைன் கிளாஸ்க்கே நான் பிக்கப் பண்ணுறதுக்கு எனக்கு 1 week டைம் ஆச்சு. ஸோ எனக்கு நாளைக்கு ஆன்லைன் எக்ஸாம், நான் என்ன பண்ணுறது அப்போ எனக்கு தெரியல. ஸோ தென் ஆன்லைன் எக்ஸாம் முன்னாடி என்னென்ன பண்ணணும், அதை எப்படி நான் ஸ்கேன் பண்ணணும், எந்த ஜிபீட்டில் போய் ஜாயின் பண்ணுவாங்க, எப்படி கொஸ்டின் பேப்பர் அனுப்புவாங்க, அதை எப்படி டவுன்லோட் பண்ணணும், அதை வச்சு நான் எப்படி என்னோட கேமராவோட ஃபோன் கேமராவோட எங்கே ஃபிக்ஸ் பண்ணணும், அதுவும் இல்லாமல் அப்போ ஒரு ஐடியா இல்லாமல் இருந்துச்சு. ஸோ 2 எக்ஸாம், ஃபஸ்ட்டு 3 எக்ஸாம் வந்து ரீநேம் பண்ணுறதுனா மிஸ்டேக் பண்ணேன், எப்படி ஸ்கேன் பண்ணுறதுல மிஸ்டேக் பண்ணேன். ஸோ வந்து நம்ம அப்படியே ரீஅப்லோட் பண்ண வேண்டியதாக இருந்துச்சு. ஸோ அப்போது ஃபஸ்ட்டு 3 எக்ஸாம் வந்து எனக்கு ரொம்ப கஷ்டமாக இருந்துச்சு. ஏன்னா 30 minutes நான் அப்லோட் பண்ணணும். இப்போ ஃபஸ்ட்டில் அனுப்புகிற பிடிஎஃப்ல அவங்க மிஸ்டேக் சொல்லிட்டாங்கன்னா நம்ம அப்படியே ஃபஸ்ட்லேருந்து பண்ணணும். ஸோ வந்து ஃபஸ்ட்டு 30 மினிட்ஸ்னால் நான் என்ன எப்படியாச்சும் அப்லோட் பண்ணுறோம். லேட் சப்மிஷன் ஆயிடுச்சுன்னா அது பெரிய ப்ராசஸ் ஆகிடும்ன்றதுக்காக நான் மறுபடியும் பண்ணேன். ஸோ அது வந்து கொஞ்சம் சேலஞ்சாக இருந்துச்சு. ஸோ இப்போ காலேஜ் முடிச்சதுக்கு என்னோட நான் படிச்சதுக்கு வந்து குரூப் எக்ஸாம் எழுதலாம், குரூப் 2 குரூப் 3 எக்ஸாம் எழுதலாம்னு ஒரு ஐடியா இருக்குது. ஸோ இதை தவிர நான் வந்து வேறு என்ன ப்ரொஃபஷன் இருக்குது எனக்கு இப்போ நான் படிக்கிற பிகாமுக்கு வேறு என்ன ப்ரொஃபஷன், பேங்கிங் ஜாபு, குரூப் எக்ஸாம் நான் எழுதலாம், கவர்மெண்ட் எக்ஸாம் எழுதலாம். அதுக்கு தவிர என்னென்ன பேங்க் அந்த வேறு என்னென்ன ஜாப்ஸ் இருக்குன்னு எனக்கு ஒன்றும் ஐடியா இல்லை. ஸோ வந்து அதுக்கு ஏதாச்சும் ஐடியா கொடுக்குற மாதிரி எனக்கு ஏதாச்சும் ஐடியா கொடுத்தா நல்லா இருக்கும். ஸோ தேங்க்யூ ஃபார் திஸ் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி.
இப்போ எங்கள் 2 பேரையும் படிக்க வச்சாங்க. எனக்கு அப்பா இல்லை, அப்பா வந்து சின்ன வயசுலேயே இறந்துட்டாரு. எங்கள் அம்மா தான் டைலரிங் பண்ணி அங்கங்கே காசு எடுத்து வச்சு படிக்க வச்சாங்க. இப்போ நாங்கள் வந்து எம்சிசி காலேஜில் வந்து படித்ததால் இப்போ எனக்கு ஃபீஸ் கட்ட ரொம்ப கஷ்டமாக இருக்குது. இப்போ எல்லோரும் ஒரு மாதிரி பார்க்குறாங்க. எனக்கு ட்ரெஸ்ஸிங்ஸ் கூட ரொம்ப ஒரு வாரத்துக்கு போட்ட ட்ரெஸ்ஸே 2 நாள் போட்டுனே போயின்னு இருப்பேன். அது மாதிரி ஒரு மாதிரி பார்ப்பாங்க. இந்த மாதிரி மேமும் அவ்வளோவா சொல்ல மாட்டாங்க, எதுவும் அவ்வளோ கேட்க மாட்டாங்க, எதுவும் ஒரு மாதிரி பார்ப்பாங்க. எனக்கு அவங்க எல்லா எங்கள் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ்லாம் வந்து எல்லாம் செட்டில்டு, இப்போ சொந்த வீடு, கார் எல்லாம் இருக்கும். எங்களுக்கு எதுவுமே இருக்காது. நாங்கள் பஸ்ஸில் போயிட்டு தான் வரோம். ஆனால் எங்கள் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ்லாம் ஷூ போல் வந்து ரொம்ப காஸ்ட்லி போடுவாங்க. நாங்கள் வந்து செருப்பு அந்த மாதிரி தான் போட்டு ரொம்ப ஒரு மாதிரி பார்ப்பாங்க. கூட படிக்கிறவங்க எல்லோரும் ஒரு மாதிரி பார்ப்பாங்க. இப்போ எனக்கு வந்து இந்த ஃபஸ்ட் இயர் போட்டி முடிச்சு நெக்ஸ்ட்டு நான் லா படிக்கணும்னு இருக்கிறேன். அதுக்கு வந்து தேவையாக இருந்த காசு. அப்புறம் வந்து எங்கள் வீட்டுக்கு கொஞ்சம் ரன் பண்ணிட்டு எங்கள் அண்ணன் கொஞ்சம் நல்ல லா படிக்கிறேன். அவனுக்கு கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டமாக இருக்குது. இப்போ எங்கள் வீட்டில் ரொம்ப ஒரு இதுவாக இருக்குது. நான் தான் ஃபஸ்ட்டு எல்லாத்தையும் இது பண்ணிட்டு எனக்கு வந்து இப்போ லா படிக்கணும்னு ரொம்ப ஆசையாக இருக்குது. ஆனால் வீடு ஃபேமிலி சுச்சுவேஷன் எப்படி சூழ்நிலை ஆகும் தெரியாது. எல்லாம் என்னை நம்பி தான் இருக்காங்க. ஆனால் ஃபேமிலி எப்படி ரன் பண்ணுறது எனக்கு சுத்தமாக தெரியல. நான் அது ஃபேமிலி சுச்சுவேஷன் பார்த்து தான் நான் லா படிக்கிறேன் இல்லையான்னு யோசிக்கிறேன்.
என் பேர் பிரேம்குமார். நான் காலேஜ் 3rd இயர் படிக்கிறேன், பிஏ டிஃபென்ஸ். எனக்கு ஒரு அக்கா, ஒரு தங்கச்சி. அப்பா வந்து ஸ்கேவஞ்சராக வேலை பார்க்குறாரு. அம்மா வந்து ஹவுஸ் ஒய்ஃபு. அப்பா வந்து அவ்வளோவா படிக்கல, 9th வரைக்கும் படிச்சுருக்காங்க. அம்மா வந்து 5th ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் வரைக்கும் படிச்சுருக்காங்க. நான் வந்து படித்தேன், ப்ரைவேட் ஸ்கூல் தான். ஏன் அந்த ஸ்கூல் கிடச்சிதுன்னா, அப்பா வந்து அங்கே வந்து ஸ்கேவஞ்சராக வேலை பார்க்குறதால அந்த ஸ்கூல் எங்களுக்கு கிடச்சிது. ஸ்கூலுக்கு போகும்போது கூட நாங்கள் ரொம்ப கஷ்டப்பட்டு தான் போவோம். ஏன்னா வந்து அப்பா வந்து அப்போ சைக்கிள் தான் வச்சுருந்தாரு. அப்போ அக்கா தங்கச்சி 2 பேர் ஏற்றின்னு போவாங்க. நான் வந்து என்னை பஸ்ஸில் ஏற்றிடுவார். அதே மாதிரி நான் கொஞ்சம் பேர் ஆனதுக்கப்புறம் அப்பா வண்டி வாங்கினதுக்கப்புறம் அதே மாதிரி அக்கா தங்கச்சி ஏற்றின்னு போவாங்க. நான் வந்து பஸ்ஸில் தான் வருவேன். பஸ்ஸில் வந்ததுக்கப்புறம் கவர்மெண்ட் பஸ்ஸில் தான் வருவேன். ஸ்கூலுக்கும் லேட்டாக வருவேன். அப்புறம் வந்து எல்லாமே நிற்கும் போது எனக்கு ஒரு மாதிரி ஷையாக இருக்கும். அது மட்டும் இல்லை, ஏதாச்சும் ஒரு வாட்டி எதுக்கு மாட்டினாலும், ஏதோ பனிஷ்மெண்ட்டில் மாட்டினாலும் என்னை ஒரு மாதிரி தான் பார்ப்பாங்க. என்னை மட்டும் முக்கியமாக ஒரு மாதிரி பார்ப்பாங்க. ஏன்னா நீ அந்த மோஸ்ட்லி பையனா, அவங்க பையன் தானே, அவங்க அப்பா பார்த்து முடியுறதுனால பார்க்குற அப்படிலாம் சொல்லி ஒரு மாதிரி பேசுவாங்க. அப்போ எனக்கு கஷ்டமாக இருக்கும். எப்பப்போ அந்த ஸ்கூலை விட்டு வெளியே போவோம் நினச்சின்னு இருப்பேன். அதே மாதிரி ஸ்கூல் ரெஸ்ட் ரூம் யூஸ் பண்ணும்போது கூட எங்கள் அப்பா அங்கேயே க்ளீன் பண்ணிருப்பாரு. அப்போ அதை பார்க்கும்போதெல்லாம் எனக்கு சரி நம்ம அப்பா மட்டும் ஏன்டா இந்த வேலை பார்க்குற அப்படின்னு நினைப்பேன். அப்புறம் நிறைய பசங்க கேட்பாங்க யாராதுன்னு. நான் எங்கள் அப்பா கிட்ட போயிட்டு காசு வாங்க போவேன். அப்போ அது மாதிரி எனக்கு டிஃபன் வேணும், லஞ்சு வேணும், காசு கேட்கும்போது கூட அப்போ யார் கூட பேசணும் கேட்கும்போது கூட எனக்கு ஒரு மாதிரி ஷையாக இருக்கும். சொல்கிறதுக்கு ஒரு மாதிரி இருக்கும். சில டைம் நான் எங்கள் அப்பாவானு சொல்லவே முடியாது. அந்த ஒரு சூழ்நிலையும் நான் கஷ்டப்பட்டுருக்கேன். அப்புறம் வந்து எப்படி ஒன்று ஸ்கூல் படித்து முடிச்சுட்டு வெளியே வந்தோம். அதுக்கடுத்து காலேஜ் சேரும்போது கூட அட்மிஷன் வந்து ஏஎன்ஜிஎன் காலேஜில் நான் போட்டு அடுத்த மறுநாளே எனக்கு வந்து 20,000 கட்ட சொன்னாங்க. நான் என்ன பண்ணேன்னு தெரியல. அப்புறம் வந்து எப்படியும் நாங்கள் பாஸ்ட் மூலிமா 25,000 கட்டிட்டு எப்படி நாங்கள் அட்மிஷன் உள்ளே போனோம். அதே மாதிரி நான் எனக்கு எய்ம்னா பிஏ டிஃபென்ஸ் ஒரு ஆஃபீஸராக ஆகணும். அதுக்கு என்ன பண்ணுறதுன்னு நான் யோசிக்கும் போது ஒரு 3-4 இன்ஸ்டியூட் நான் போய் கேட்டேன். அதில் என்ன சொன்னாங்கன்னா ஆஃப்டேக் மூலிமா நீங்கள் ட்ரை பண்ணலாம், நான் டெக்னிக்கு போகலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லும்போது நான் வீட்டில் அப்பா கிட்ட சொன்னேன். அதே மாதிரி பாசிட்டிவ்னு சொன்னேன். அவங்க வந்து மே மாதம் வந்து கிளாஸஸ் ஸ்டார்ட் ஆகும் சொல்லும்போது அதில் வந்து 25,000 ஒரு இன்ஸ்டியூட் கேட்டாங்க. என்னால் காசு இல்லை 25,000 கட்டேன். அதே மாதிரி இன்னொரு இன்ஸ்டியூட்லேயும் 30,000 கேட்டாங்க. எனக்கு கட்டவும் காசு இல்லை. அது வந்து இப்போது எனக்கு எய்ம்னா ஃபஸ்ட்டு பிஏ டிஃபென்ஸ் கண்டிப்பாக டிஃபென்ஸ் ஆஃபீஸராக போகணும். அதுதான் எய்ம். அதே மாதிரி அக்கா தங்கச்சி 2 பேர் இருக்காங்க. அவங்களுக்கு பார்க்குறதே எனக்கு பார்க்கலாம் சொல்லி நான் வீட்லேயும் அவ்வளோ ப்ரெஷர் கொடுக்கல. ஆனால் வீட்டில் ப்ரெஷர் கொடுத்தா அவங்க கண்டிப்பாக பேருக்கு அண்ணா தான் வாங்கி வந்து சேர்ப்பாங்க. ஆனால் அந்த அப்படி இருக்கு. ஆனால் சரி நம்மளே ஏதாவது காசு சேவ் பண்ணி நம்மளே கட்டிக்கலாம் அப்படி இன்ஸ்டியூட் அப்படின்னு நான் யோசிச்சுட்டு இருந்தேன். சரி அப்போ இது காசு இருக்கிறவங்க கண்டிப்பாக இன்ஸ்டியூட் சேர்ந்து எப்படியாச்சும் அவங்க படிச்சிருவாங்க. அதே மாதிரி எப்படியா எக்ஸாம் கிளியர் பண்ணிடுவாங்க. எங்களை மாதிரி காசு இருக்கிற பசங்க வந்து ரொம்ப கஷ்டப்பட்டு போனாங்க. அதே மாதிரி எனக்கு என்ன இப்போ டிஃபென்ஸ் எப்படியாவது ஒரு இன்ஸ்டியூட் சேரணும், கண்டிப்பாக வந்து அதில் படிக்கணும் தான் நீ என்னோட எய்ம். கண்டிப்பாக நான் அதை அச்சீவ் பண்ணுவேன். அதே மாதிரி யாரோ ஒருத்தங்க இதுக்கு ஹெல்ப் பண்ணால் நல்லாயிருக்கும்.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for making a very, very strong narrative. And I feel like all of them spoke from their heart. And at this age, like, no, it's not that easy to really reveal their own identity and the discrimination that they faced, and also, like, no, from their childhood memories also. So I really want to thank Kesia, Lalita, Kamesh, Deenadayalan, and Prem Kumar. Just one or two highlights from every presenters, like, no, from Kesia was also narrating from her school days, like, no, what kind of hardships that she faced, like, no, even in terms of traveling from her place to next level middle school and other school, like, no, definitely higher education access has also been determined by the kind of schools that we are studying, and also the infrastructure that the schools are having. So from her narrative we can find out, like, no, the kind of discrimination, and it was also from the narrative we can find out the subtle form of discrimination that she was facing, beyond the distance and the other physical barrier. And I also felt like there are a lot of resilience in the way she, like, no, as a person, as Kesia herself, like, no, though her childhood memories talk about a lot of discrimination and other hardships, she's a very, very strong girl. She's so determined, and then she wanted to really pursue her higher education. And the second sharing was by Lalita. She was highlighting 2 elements. She wanted to become an IAS officer. Really wanted to appreciate her and congratulate her for having a very strong will that she wants to become an IAS. And she spoke about the tuition and the affordability factor. Of course, all of us know, like, no, sending children to Dalit children to school itself costs the parents, like, especially parents coming from the first generation. Like, no, they sometimes parents also does not have the real dream and vision that the students have. That's quite challenging. Not to blame the parents, but their situation of being, like, no, economically deprived, that they have to go for work and other stuff. In spite of it, like, no, parents will not be able to afford for tuitions. So larger context, I just wanted to compare the whole thing with how this government of India is bringing this whole centralized exams, entrance examination. Of course, Tamil Nadu is, like, no, standing in forefront in terms of like, no, opposing the NEET exam. So the new education policy also proposes exams like, you know, other entrance exam for undergraduation also. So as a strong voice, we need to really like, no, oppose this move, because for this marginalized students, it won't be that easy to even prepare for entrance exams also. So when the tuition itself is not affordable, entrance exam coaching is, like, no, really one money minting whole, that's a whole business. And again, another point Lalita quoted is about the SC Christian, Dalit Christian issue. So there are a lot of conversion which are happening with the marginalized communities. Technically, constitutionally, they don't have any reservation when they convert into Christianity. So they are categorized under the backward communities, which is again challenging for them to get scholarship and also in admission, which is also a point to be noted and highlighted. And then Kamesh also shared about the experience of all of a sudden the pandemic and the online education and the affordability, like, no, the smartphone. Of course, me working as a professor in a college, especially in our institution, we also encourage a lot of first generation students to get admitted. Most of the students were facing the similar problem, that they were not aware of, like, know how to scan, and then because that's the first time that they are using these phones in terms of writing exams. And some of the areas where tribal students were studying, they did not have access to internet facility also. With the stipulated time, they were not able to upload the answer scripts and all. I could understand the narrative from Kamish narrative. It would have been really challenging, one, the pandemic, and the other thing, like, in terms of accessing online education. from Deena Dayalan sharing, like I felt he wanted to pursue law, like no, that's his dream. But from his expression, we could say, even when our own Dalit students wanted to dream something, even the dream they cannot have out of their free will or like no, like any other student. So when he wants to become a lawyer, his financial constraint stands on the way that he cannot even imagine and dream that he wants to become a lawyer. So it's common for all our Dalit students. We need to really help them achieve their dreams in terms of guiding them as well as like no helping them in terms of financially to go to that level. Again, from Prem Kumar sharing the similar point of Deena Dayal and how really poverty is like no making them not to really achieve in terms of as I pointed out even in my initial talk, like no access doesn't determine only with entry level. Like no when the students complete totally, then they are like no real successful graduates. So the poverty is not the problem of Dalits as such, as we all know. Like no intergenerationally, like Dalits are poor. That is because like no we've been prohibited to have access to resources. So that is so structural, and all these students sharing, we could connect like no how they are deprived in multiple ways. Like no even though they have got into college, but I'm sure like they have to face a lot of hardships in terms of completing their education. So, but I really wanted to wish all of them all the best, and I'm sure like no with the very very strong willpower, with the very strong narratives that you have like thrown in front of us, like it's quite challenging also. And I also encourage the participants to post the questions in the chat box. And you can also mention like to whom you wanted to, I mean, asking the question. And it could also be a comment. If you could just put it in the chat box, it will be easier for me to moderate it. Thank you. Even if the participants wanted to share anything additionally, you're welcome. Lalita, Kesia, Kamesh, if you want to say anything extra or you want to speak, you want to add something, you can do it. Meanwhile, like no, the others can post their questions.
I have a quick question for the panelists. I am Roja Singh. Thank you so much, Professor Samuel, for your amazing moderation. And thank you to all the students. Romba nandri, romba nalla share panninga. I don't know Telugu, so I'm not saying that in Telugu. So I also studied in MCC, Madras Christian College. So it was so nice to hear a couple of people from there. So I want to find out, are the students, college students, staying with their parents and attending college, or are they in a dorm facility, hostel? How, I don't know what MCC is like now, what kind of tuition, I mean, fees do they charge? I just wanted to know some practical aspects like that of their life.
Yaar, Lalita answer pandringla pa?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I'm staying with my parents.
நீங்க அப்பா அம்மா கூட தான் தங்கி
Lalita என்ன சொன்னீங்க?
she said she's staying with her parents.
She's staying with
It looks like she lives in Tambaram.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Lalita, unga fees la evlo pa irukku per semester evlo fees ketrீங்க like
Ma'am, first take down clear இருக்காங்க.
இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் கிட்ட வந்து பேசு, மைக் வாய் கிட்ட வச்சுக்கோங்க கொஞ்சம்.
கேக்குதா மேம் இப்போ?
கேக்குது லலிதா, பேசுங்க.
மேம் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் செம் வந்து 24,000 கட்டணும் மேம். செகண்ட் செம் ஒன்னும் சொல்லல. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் செமஸ்டர் 20, செகண்ட் செம் ஒன்னும் சொல்லல மேம்.
ஓகே.
So political science முடிச்சிட்டு நீங்க IAS பண்றதா யோசிச்சுட்டு இருக்கீங்க இல்லையா? So அதுக்கு கோச்சிங் கிளாஸஸ் அதெல்லாம் எப்படி இப்பமே ஸ்டார்ட் பண்றீங்களா? அதுக்குரிய கோச்சிங் எல்லாம்?
மேம். நான் வந்து பெஸ்ட் ஐஏஎஸ் கோச்சிங் பார்த்தேன் மேம். இங்க சென்னையில எங்க இருக்கு சொல்லிட்டு பார்த்தேன். அப்ப வந்து சங்கர் ஐஏஎஸ் அகாடமி நல்லா இருக்கும் சொல்லிட்டு எல்லாரும் சொன்னாங்க. அப்புறம் அதுக்கு கால் ஆன்லைன்லயே கூகுள்லயே ஃபோன் நம்பர் கிடைச்சது. கால் பண்ணா அவங்க சொன்னாங்க, நீங்க வந்து செகண்ட் இயர்ல இருந்து ஜாயின் பண்ணா கரெக்டா இருக்கும் அப்படி சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. அதுக்கு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இயர்ல இருந்தே நான் வந்து ஒரு ஃப்ரீ ஐஏஎஸ் கோச்சிங் இருந்தது மேம். டெலிகிராம்ல பார்த்தேன். அது வந்து சாட்டர்டே சண்டே நடக்கும். அது மட்டும் அட்டெண்ட் பண்ண.
ஓகே ஓகே, வெரி
ஆன்லைன் தான்.
சரி சரி. சமலா, நீங்க கொஞ்சம் அது இங்கிலீஷ்ல சொல்றீங்களா ஃபார் தி ஆடியன்ஸ்?
Okay. So Lali, I mean, as you all know, like Roja Singh was asking about the context of how, I mean, she said she also studied in MCC, and how is the present context? She wasn't much aware. Like, so is Lalita staying with her parents or coming from hostel? As Lalita said, she's staying with her parents. And then regarding the fees, like, no, for one semester she has to pay 24,000, and the following semester, like, additionally she would be given instruction how much fees she should pay. With regard to the ambition that she has, like, no, she wants to become an IAS officer, and she mentioned about the Shankar's IAS Academy, and it's a very popular IAS coaching center, but the fees is like really high. If I'm not wrong, I think they are charging 1 lakh for 10 months or 12 months of coaching. And then Lalita started exploring with the other weekend coaching, where Saturday, Sundays, she could get coaching for this civil service exam. Since from the second year onwards, she would be doing this kind of coaching during the weekend. Anybody? Vera yaradu sollanuma pesanuma?
There is a question in the Q&A.
Question. Yes, yes. Okay, 1 minute. Are there Dalit Ambedkarite student organization on your campuses? What kind of support do they provide to Dalit students, and how are they treated by the college administration? So Nikhil வந்து ஒரு கேள்வி கேட்டிருக்காங்க. நீங்க யாருனாலும் ஆன்சர் பண்ணலாம். Any of the students can answer. You can just நீங்க உங்களோட hand button raise பண்ணாலும் ஓகே, otherwise unmute பண்ணாலும் ஓகே. காலேஜ் கேம்பஸ்க்குள்ள வந்து தலித் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸுக்கான ஏதாவது ஒரு அம்பேத்கர் பேர்லயோ இல்லாட்டி ஏதாவது ஸ்டூடெண்ட் ஆர்கனைசேஷன் தலித் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்க்கு ஹெல்ப் பண்ண மாதிரி, எஸ்சி ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்க்கு ஹெல்ப் பண்ற மாதிரி ஏதாவது இருக்குதா? அதை எப்படி கல்லூரி நிர்வாகம் பாக்குது அப்படின்ற மாதிரி கேக்குறாங்க. என்ன மாதிரி உதவி உங்களுக்கு கிடைக்குது கல்லூரி நிர்வாகத்துக்கிட்ட இருந்து?
மேம், எந்த மாதிரி உதவியும் கிடைக்கல மேம். அந்த மாதிரி எல்லாம் காலேஜ்ல எதுவுமே கேட்க மாட்டாங்க. பட் ஒரு வாட்டி வந்து ஸ்காலர்ஷிப்ஸ் எல்லாம் இருக்கு சொல்லிட்டு ஒரு நோட்டீஸ் வந்தது. அதுக்கெல்லாம் ஸ்காலர்ஷிப் வந்து அப்ளை பண்ணோம் மேம். கவர்மெண்ட் மூலியமா வந்தது. பட் காலேஜே அவங்க இனிஷியேட் எடுத்து எதுவுமே அந்த மாதிரி.
Okay, so that's a very interesting question. Thank you, Lalita, actually, like for answering. And thank you, Nikhil, for this question. Like, no, I mean, as Roja pointed out, like she studied in MCC, I also studied in MCC, all my undergraduation and post-graduation. In terms of this kind of Ambedkarite or Dalit student organization, in my knowledge, never we had any such organization as such. Like even at a pan-India level, universities have, like, you know, JNU or Hyderabad Central University and other universities have, like even IIT Madras, like a couple of years, a decade before, they start with Ambedkar and Periyar study circle kind of thing. So one thing that I feel, like, you know, with this whole point of, like, you know, Madras Christian College, with this whole cosmopolitan culture, even when the students were sharing their own narratives, the dressing sense and other stuff, I think, like, when our own Dalit students get into the college, they feel very alien about the whole environment itself. So we don't, I mean, there is no separate identity for, you know, Dalit students' body or anything. And I'm sure if the colleges, at least with the UGC guidelines or anything, if the college themselves, if it is becoming a mandate, definitely that gives a lot of sense of belongingness, at least a peer group, that, no, something is happening to me, like, no, I can just join hands with some brotherhood, some fraternity kind of body, which will be helpful. But I'm sure MCC doesn't have any such thing. Comparing with the institution where I'm teaching, at least there is one unit which facilitates the admission of first generation marginalized students. So I think we can make a proposal with the college administration that they can have something like that. At least to the entry level, they facilitate the student admission process in the institution where I teach. Yeah, you want to say anything, Roja, regarding this?
Yes, Professor Samala, thank you for pointing that out. I think this could be one of the action items that can come out of this session as we're talking, is since we have a good cohort of people from Madras Christian College, we can really have a conversation with the administration there and emphasize the importance of such spaces like Ambedkarite, support groups, or even like conversational groups would be an important thing. Unfortunately, with these, with the college like MCC, Madras Christian College, it was started by missionaries, right? And unfortunately, it started catering to the elite of the whatever, Dr. Radhakrishnan studied there as well. So it's really not serving the purpose of what the missionaries intended it to be. And that's been a huge burden for me as well. And individual professors are doing their own, things to help students like Lalita and others who've shared. So I think that'll be a good action item for us to follow through if Professor Samalar is interested in that. Thank you.
Any other questions?
There is one in the Q&A box. Do you want me to just read it out?
1 minute. Yeah. Yeah, it's from Aditi ma'am. Kezia shared about her experience of untouchability. Through all the struggle, she has completed her graduation and she wants to become a teacher. Does Kezia feel that change will now happen in her life and future generation? Kezia, உங்களுக்கு என்ன கொஸ்டின் போட்டிருக்காங்கன்னா, நீங்க வந்து இவ்ளோ இடர்பாடுகளுக்கு நடுவுலயும் நீங்க வந்து டிஸ்கிரிமினேஷன், அன்டச்சபிலிட்டி எல்லாத்தையும் ஃபேஸ் பண்ணி நீங்க வந்து உங்களோட கிராஜுவேஷன் முடிச்சுட்டு நீங்க ஒரு டீச்சர் ஆகணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு சொல்லியிருக்கீங்க. அட்லீஸ்ட் இனி வர எதிர்கால சந்ததியிலையாவது ஒரு மாற்றம் வரும் நீங்க நினைக்கிறீங்களா அப்படின்னு கேக்குறாங்க. Kezia, are you here? இங்க இருக்கீங்களா?
Kezia, unmute பண்ணிக்கோங்க.
Kezia, I think she's Telugu. Let me try.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Kezia, నీకు క్వశ్చన్ ఉంది. నువ్వు ఇంత కష్టపడి చదువుకొని ఇప్పుడు టీచర్ అవ్వాలని అనుకుంటున్నావు కదా, ఇప్పుడు నీకు ఇది జరుగుతుందా అని నువ్వు అనుకుంటున్నావా అని అడుగుతున్నారు క్వశ్చన్. నీ వీడియో ఆన్ చేసి చెప్పు. కెజియా వినపడుతుందా? కెజియా
Maybe if anybody else wants to answer the same question.
யாருனோ ஆன்சர் பண்ணலாம் கூட பண்ணலாம். தீனா, கமேஷ் ஆன்சர் பண்ணலாம். காயத்ரி, நீங்களும் ஆன்சர் பண்ணலாம்.
வேற யாராவது இந்த கேள்விக்கு பதில் சொல்லணுமா? மாற்றம் நிகழும்னு நினைக்கிறீங்களா?
என்ன பிரச்சனை வரும்னா நினைக்கிறீங்களா? இல்லனா
இல்ல எதிர்காலத்திலயாவது ஒரு சேஞ்ச் வரும் அப்படின்னு நீங்க பிலீவ் பண்றீங்களா? எப்படி ஃபீல் பண்றீங்க அத பத்தி? உங்க ஜெனரேஷன்லயே சேஞ்ச் வருமா?
கண்டிப்பா வரும் மேம். ஏன்னா இப்போ எப்படி சொல்றது, நம்மளே சேஞ்ச் பண்ணிக்கிட்டா கண்டிப்பா சேஞ்ச் வரும் மேம். இப்போ எங்க மம்மி டாடி வந்து மேனுவல் ஸ்கேவெஞ்சரா இருந்தாங்க. சோ நாங்க ஃபேஸ் பண்றோம். இப்போ வந்து நாங்க அப்படி இல்லைன்னா எங்க சில்ட்ரன்ஸ் அடுத்த ஜெனரேஷன் ஃபேஸ் பண்ண முடியாது இல்ல மேம். அது மட்டும் இல்லாம இப்போ நாங்க வந்து எங்க ஜெனரேஷனோட முடிச்சுக்கிறோம். ஸோ எங்க அடுத்த ஜெனரேஷன் வந்து ஃபேஸ் பண்ண முடியாது. நாங்க வந்து கஷ்டப்படுறவங்களுக்கு ஹெல்ப் பண்ணா அவங்களும் அந்த மாதிரி டிஸ்கிரிமினேஷன்ஸ் எல்லாம் ஃபேஸ் பண்ண மாட்டாங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறாங்க. பிகாஸ் நிறைய பேர் சொன்னாங்க அவங்களுக்கு ஃபீஸ் கட்ட முடியல, நல்லா படிக்க முடியல அப்படியெல்லாம் சொன்னாங்க. ஸோ நம்ம அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கிறவங்க யாருன்னு தெரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டு அவங்களுக்கு ஹெல்ப் பண்ணா இதெல்லாம் மாறும்னு நினைக்கிறாங்க.
Okay, just to translate what Lalita responded to the question by Deepthi Sukumar. Lalita believes that change would happen definitely. And then she also putting forth one interesting point, like, when she achieves in her life and career, she really wanted to help somebody else who's struggling hard to have access to education and then not able to pay fees. That's so really nice of you, Lalita, thinking that you should really help the future generation. So she also believes that if people could really help and uplift other people, definitely change is possible. So thank you so much for that positive note. In spite of all these hardships, you really hope change will come. Thank you, Lalita. Any other questions or anybody else who wanted to share? வேற ஏதாவது கேள்வி இருக்கா இல்ல யாராவது ஏதாவது கமெண்ட் சொல்லணும்னா கூட சொல்லலாம். or ஸ்டூடண்ட்ஸ்க்கு நேரா கூட கேள்வி கேட்கலாம். You can post your questions to the students, or if you want to make a comment, you can do it. Okay, so meanwhile, really we in terms of summarizing this whole thing, I'm sure every other student, college students especially, who are into college, they were sharing their own personal experience also. It's a real voice, whatever they were going through, they were just sharing. And we could really map all these problems with what the what the challenges the Dalit students are facing, all across India. It could be only few students, couple of students who have shared, but all the problems that they are sharing are connected with the macro problems also. Even in my introductory note, I just mentioned how this is going to become more challenging in the coming days. That is something which is very serious, that people like us should really address it. As even one of the organizers, Roja Singh, was pointing out, even our own institution, how the entire vision or with the aim one institution was started, how it is also getting reshaped with accommodating with this whole concept of neoliberalism and privatization. And definitely all the institutions are mandated to adopt the new education policy also. I'm sure our own first generation Dalit students are going to have a very tough time when this government is going to bring forth all the elements of the new education policy, especially in terms of accessing higher education, with this context of having entrance examination even for arts and science. Our students are not able to get into professional education, and the kind of coaching, the affordability of the coaching, and the whole concept of making the entire education towards the online education. And especially one point that I wanted to highlight is the whole program is being changed, that a student can discontinue at the level of second year, they get the diploma certificate. Student, when they discontinue, third year they get degree. And then that's not a good move at all. Especially I wanted to highlight in the context of Dalit students coming from the first generation. Definitely our students and parents would not know what does it really mean, what is this diploma, what is this undergraduation. So I think it's definitely a trap if at all the civil society organization or people like us do not respond to this. Automatically they will mandate and the colleges will adopt the same system, which will be a real setback for our students. Definitely, as one of our friend Nikhil raised a question, colleges should have some sort of a body where our own students, marginalized first generation Dalit students, can go and really look back and then get some support and help. Otherwise, access merely doesn't mean just stepping into the college. Access really means that they have to complete the course, and such bodies would be definitely helpful. And very strongly we have to forth our point from a marginalized subaltern perspective, that we resist to this whole point of privatization and converting the whole education to online education, or like adopting this new education policy from the context of Dalit students access. So if anybody else wanted to add upon this and then or way forward, you can also comment in this slide.
I just want to, again, if we have a minute with the students, I want to ask them, what is one thing that they can identify about themselves that they are really proud of?
Okay. So students கிட்ட ஒரு கேள்வி கேக்குறாங்க, என்னன்னா உங்களை குறிச்சு நீங்க பெருமை பாராட்டுற ஒரு விஷயம் ஏதாவது ஒண்ணு சொன்னீங்கன்னா நல்லா இருக்கும். எல்லாருமே சொன்னீங்கன்னா நல்லா இருக்கும். Starting from Lalita, maybe for Kezia, Tabitha can help translation.
Kezia network is not working, so
okay. So உங்களை குறிச்சு நீங்க பெருமைப்படுற ஒரு விஷயம் சொன்னீங்கன்னா நல்லா இருக்கும். That's also a good thing with all your resilience.
எஸ் மேம். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் எல்லாம் நான் சின்ன வயசுல இருக்கும்போது, சின்ன வயசுனா நான் ஸ்கூல் படிக்கும் போதெல்லாம் பேசவே ஷையா இருப்பேன் மேம். என்ன நினைப்பாங்களோ, நம்ம பேசினா என்ன நினைப்பாங்க, வெக்கமா இருக்கே ஒரு மாதிரியா நினைப்பாங்க, அப்படியெல்லாம் இருக்கும். பட் இப்போ வந்து எல்லாம் தெரிஞ்சிருச்சு. நம்ம பேசினா நம்மளோட ஒப்பீனியன் சொல்ல போறோம், எல்லாரும் மனுஷங்க தான், அப்படி ஒண்ணு ஒரு மெச்சூரிட்டி மாதிரி வந்துடுச்சு. அது என்கிட்ட ரொம்ப பிடிக்கும். ஸோ இப்போ வந்து என்னோட ஒப்பீனியன் நான் சொல்லுவேன். அப்புறம் அவங்க ஏதாச்சும் சொன்னாலும் எனக்கு தப்பா தோணுச்சுன்னா நான் சொல்லுவேன். பட் நான் யாரையும் ஹர்ட் பண்ண மாட்டேன், என்னையும் யாரும் ஹர்ட் பண்ண மாட்டாங்க. பிகாஸ் நான் வந்து எல்லாருக்கூடயும் நல்லா பேசுவேன். ஒருத்தவங்களை வந்து நான் வந்து தனியா ஒதுக்கி வச்சு அப்படியெல்லாம் பேச மாட்டேன். பிகாஸ் எனக்கு தெரியும், ஒருத்தவங்களை நான் ஃபேஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். இந்த மாதிரி யாராச்சும் என்னை விட்டுட்டு தனியா பார்த்தாங்கன்னா எனக்கு தெரியும் அந்த பெயின். அதனால ஸோ இது வந்து எனக்கு பிடிக்கும். எல்லாருக்கிட்டையும் நான் ஃப்ரெண்டா இருப்பேன். அப்புறம் நான் வந்து அவ்வளவா ஷையா இருக்க மாட்டேன். ஸோ இது வந்து எனக்கு ரொம்ப
very good Lalita. So Lalita was just narrating that one positive thing about her is she takes initiative and then she talks. Initially she was very shy, actually she was very hesitant to talk to people, and then now she feels she herself can really talk, and then she determined to be bold. I feel that's a very good move, Lalita. And I also feel from Lalita sharing mainstreaming our own selves, being Dalits is very, very important. The society will exclude, but definitely we should make a conscious effort to mainstream our own selves. So congratulations Lalita for that point. Can I listen from Kamesh, Deenadayalan and Prem Kumar? காமேஷ், தீனதயாளன், பிரேம்குமார், ஏதாவது ஒண்ணு சொல்லுங்க. நீங்க வந்து உங்களை பத்தி பெருமை படக்கூடிய ஒரு விஷயம் சொல்லுங்க உங்களை குறிச்சு. தீனா சொல்றீங்களா? பிரேம் சொல்றீங்களா? What is that you really feel proud about yourself? சும்மா சொல்லுங்க. நாம எப்பவுமே நம்மளோட கஷ்டம்லாம் நரேட் பண்றோம்ல, நம்மளுக்கு இதுவும் ரொம்ப முக்கியம். Always we are narrating our hardships, but as I already pointed out, we always have a lot of resilience. Even our survival itself is shows that we are so resilient. So சொல்லுங்க அதீனா and பிரேம், ஒரு பாசிட்டிவ் திங் சொல்லுங்க ஏதாவது உங்களை பத்தி. லலிதா சொன்ன மாதிரி. Kamesh is here.
Unmute பண்ணிக்கோங்க. If you're trying to speak, just unmute.
பிரேம் சொல்றீங்களா? பிரேம் கண்டிப்பா உங்களை பத்தி உங்களுக்கு தெரிஞ்சிருக்கும்ல, ஏதாவது ஒரு பாயிண்ட் சொல்லுங்க. So audience will be inspired. சொல்லுங்க காமேஷ், பேசுங்க.
மேம் ஹெல்பிங் நிறைய பிகாஸ் நிறைய பேர் எனக்கு ஹெல்ப் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. ஸோ தட்
ம்.
எனக்கும் ஹெல்ப் பண்ணணும், மற்றவங்களுக்கு நிறைய பேருக்கு ஹெல்ப் பண்ணணும்னு தோணும். ஸோ என்னால் முடிஞ்ச ஹெல்ப்பை நான் பண்ணிடுவேன். மற்றவங்க என்ன கேட்டாலும் என்னால் முடியுதுன்னா நான் என்னோட ஹெல்ப்பை நான் பண்ணிடுவேன்.
Okay, super. Super, Kamesh. Very good. So Kamesh is telling like, no, he has an attitude to help people because that idea comes because he also received a lot of help from other people. So one positive thing about him that he really feels proud about it, like, no, he has an attitude to help others. Thank you so much, Kamesh. Keep it up. Deena சொல்றீங்களா? பிரேம் சொல்றீங்களா? தீனா அன்மியூட் பண்ணிக்கோங்க பேசுறீங்கன்னா.
மேடம்
கோ ஹெட் தீனா சொல்லுங்க.
மேடம் எங்க வீட்டுல வந்து யாரும் படிக்கல, எஜுகேட்டனும் எதுவுமே இல்லை, படிக்கல. இப்ப நான் படிச்சு நான் எல்லாருக்கும் சொல்லித்தரேன். எனக்கு எங்க வீட்டுல என்ன இதுன்னா எனக்கு நான் என்கிட்ட வருவாங்க ஏதாவது எழுதுறதுக்கு, அதுக்கு எனக்கு பெருமை.
Very good, Deena. So Deena says like, no, he comes from a family where like family members are not much educated. So since he is educated, like, no, people come approach him for any help, like, no, filling up or anything which is to do with like reading, writing. So Deena feels proud about his own character of helping people in terms of helping them fill forms and other things. Good job, Deena. Keep it up. Prem சொல்றீங்களா? With your last final comment also we can wind up. பிரேம் ஏதாவது பேசுறீங்களா?
பேசுறேன்.
பேசுங்க பிரேம்.
ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸும் கூட சுத்தும்போது எந்த ரீஜன் எந்த கேஸ்டோ எப்படிப்பட்டவன் அதெல்லாம் பார்க்க மாட்டோம். ஜாலியா பேசுறது சுத்துறது அந்த மாதிரி ஃப்ரீ டைப்பா இருப்போம். ஏதோ ஒரு இது பார்க்காம பூரோ ரிச் அந்த மாதிரிலாம் பார்க்காம அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கிறது நான் இதுல பெருமைப்படுறேன்.
Okay, so Deena says like, no, he feels like, no, I mean, getting along with friends, we should not look into their identity, their social background, their class, caste identity. We should treat everybody equal. Like that's a point he wanted to make even when he is relating with his own friends. So good Prem, at least you have an attitude of being inclusive. எல்லாரையும் சமம் அப்படின்னு நினைக்கணும்ன்ற ஒரு எண்ணம் இருக்கு. So he has an attitude that everybody should be treated equal. So that is one point that he really feels proud about it. So thank you all. Thank you, students. So it was so inspiring. Like, no, since I'm also working in a college, so students of similar background, I also like, no, meet every day, like try to help them out with all aspects of like completing their education. And apart from it also, like I always believe that as I pointed out in my introductory remark, education is definitely a very powerful tool, and our revolutionary Ambedkar also, like, no, is a very iconic model who just succeeded in his life. He was able to bring the entire constitution with a very, very pro-marginalized attitude. Even when you read the whole constituent assembly debates and everything, we know, like, no, how well read he is, how well informed he is. So it's very important that for our Dalit students, not only to just get a mere formal education, but also being ourselves, being informed, which means like you have to do additional reading and you have to be updated what is happening around. Like, no, you have to be politicized enough to know, understand the context. So that is also very, very important. So students நான் என்ன சொல்ல வரேன்னா, வெறும் கல்வின்றது ஒரு பெரிய ஆயுதம். நம்ம அது வெறும் கல்வின்றது ஒரு ஃபார்மல் எஜுகேஷன், நீங்க டிஃப்ரெண்ட் காலேஜஸ்ல படிக்கிறீங்க, ஒரு டிகிரி கிடைக்கிறது மட்டும் இல்லாம, அம்பேத்கர் ஒரு ரோல் மாடலா எடுத்துக்கிட்டோம்னா, அவர் வந்து வெறும் படிப்பு மட்டும் படிக்கல, ஆனா அவர் சுத்தி என்ன நடக்குதுன்றதையும் தெரிஞ்சு படிச்சாங்க. அதனாலதான் அவங்க சமுதாயத்துக்கு யூஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருக்க முடிஞ்சது. சோ நாம வந்து வெறும் பிகாம் படிக்கிறோம், பொலிட்டிக்கல் சயின்ஸ் படிக்கிறோம்னு அதோட நிறுத்திக்காம, அதை தவிர நம்ம நிறைய விஷயங்கள் நம்மளை சுத்தி என்ன நடக்குதுன்றதையும் தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும். சோ அது ரொம்ப இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். நாமளே அரசியல் படுத்திக்கணும், நம்மளை சுத்தி என்ன நடக்குதுன்றதையும் தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும். then we become leaders. அப்பதான் நம்ம வந்து ஒரு உண்மையான லீடரா ஆக முடியும், அம்பேத்கர் மாதிரி ஒரு லீடரா ஆக முடியும்னு நான் சொல்றேன். So with that, I really wanted to conclude. Over to the organizers. Thank you so much.
I'm really grateful to all our panelists today and to Professor Samalar for your phenomenal moderating skills. Thank you so much. and thank you to our audience who are listening. I do want to just make a couple of closing statements and then point to some action items that we could move towards. I also want to remind everybody before I forget, I want to thank Tabitha Prashanti and Diksha Dupa for really carrying this forward. For several months, they've been working very hard in putting this together. So I'm very inspired and proud of their commitment and the work that they have put into this contest. So congratulations to both of them. And also June 16th, which is Thursday evening, 6 p.m. EST. Unfortunately, it's very early in the morning in India. We will be screening the film Madati, which was directed by Ms. Leena Manimekalai. And for those of you who don't know about her, she's, I call her, like a fiery person. She's just very bold and courageous in the voice that she provides, and provides visibility to such hidden and invisible issues, such as those that are affecting people in the margins, especially Dalit communities. So it's a very powerful film about a little girl growing up in South India as a young Dalit girl, and the kind of violations that she experiences in her life. So, and that film screening will be followed by a conversation with the director, with myself as well. So do attend if you can. And then right after this session, we have another very special session. Students from marginalized backgrounds in India who have come to different parts of the world, who are in different parts of the world, including USA and UK, doing their PhD and pursuing higher careers, so that our own students, who just spoke as well, the panelists, could also connect and look to something in terms of, it is possible to break these shackles that society puts on us. So I just want to conclude by saying that I'm inspired by the voices today that were shared, because I really see them as organic incarnations, I would say, of demanding legal rights, human rights, when everything else is going against them, that they're actually swimming against the stream. And that is just something that I deeply admire, and I'm deeply moved by what they have shared. So drawing from their lived personal and communal experiences for them to establish themselves against, a cultural, social reality that the public sector and the private sector, they're so determined to work against marginalized communities. The system is set up for us to fail. And so in such a system, this is just so emotional for me, in such a system, for you all to just push on with your life is just amazing. And thank you so much for sharing that with us. And we are here for you. And I'm so glad to make the connection of Sam Muller, Professor Sam Muller, and hopefully we can, make sure that these sessions are not just panels, but there are action items that follow. And one of the action items is, yes, definitely, I know that financial resources are very limited for our students, for all communities that are marginalized in India, including Dalits and Muslims and scheduled tribe students, and so on, transgender communities as well. So, so if you would like, if anybody in the audience, or if anybody who would like to contribute towards the cause of education and career opportunities, Dalit Solidarity Forum in the USA, we are the first, one of the first Dalit rights-based organization in the United States. I'm proud to be one of the co-founders, and I'm proud to be partnering this particular conference with Hindus for Human Rights, where we're always ready to shut down any kind of conversation around Hinduism. So it is so important to have this partnership and say, yes, we could remain in our faith backgrounds, but still be against the oppressive aspects of our own, faith traditions and heritage that we follow. So this is a great opportunity for us to recognize the kind of partnership that we are providing, that we are claiming for ourselves with several other co-sponsors today as well. So thank you for all our co-sponsoring organizations today, the Ambedkar International Center, Ambedkar King Study Circle, Boston Study Group, International Council for Dalit Rights. I'm sure I'm forgetting other organizations, Mid-American Muslim Council. So many of us are here together to work towards this cause. And the other action item, yes, so Dalit Solidarity Forum, the USA, the website is dalitsolidarityforum.usa.com, dalitsolidarityforum.usa.com. If somebody can put that in the chat box, Nikhil, probably. So that is a website you can go to and donate, and you can specify where you want that money to go to. And the other action item is also we have a data portal on the website where if you are experiencing severe, discrimination in terms of course, we know there is physical violence, there is mental violence, so much of help that is needed. Another aspect that we need to work on is mental health counseling that we need to provide for our students on college campuses and high schools. So that is another action item we'd like to pursue. So we do have a database that you can actually log into our website and report incidents of discrimination and violence there as well. So those are some action items. So thank you again so very much for being here, for sharing so generously of your life. And again, thank you for the organizers, Tabitha and Diksha, and my partner today, Hindus for Human Rights, and everybody involved in this conference here. And over to Boston Study Group now.
Sujata, you can start, please.
So that was really, very inspiring session that we had. I welcome again everyone for this next session of ours. So on behalf of Boston Study Group, I would like to extend my thanks to everyone for joining this session. This is a panel 4 titled Breaking Caste Barriers, Stories of Resilience. In the earlier three panels, yesterday and today's panel, the panelists have voiced their plight of caste-based discrimination in educational institutions in India. In this fourth session, we'll hear some absolutely inspirational journeys of the graduate students who crushed the barricades of caste discrimination and accomplished their aspirations of higher education worldwide. With all the pride, I would like to echo Dr. Ambedkar's clarion call to move into our next session. I quote, "My final words of advice to you are educate, agitate, and organize. Have faith in yourself. With justice on our side, I do not see how we can lose our battle. The battle to me is a matter of joy. The battle is in the fullest sense spiritual. There is nothing material or social in it. For ours is a battle not for wealth or for power. It is a battle for freedom. It is a battle for the reclamation of the human personality," unquote. This is one of the wonderful inspirational words by Dr. Ambedkar. This panel is moderated by Mr. Mahesh Admankar, a PhD scholar and research fellow at John W. McCormick School of Policy and Global Studies, University of Massachusetts, Boston. He is the founder of NEST, which stands for Network for Environmental and Social Transformation. He has graduated with Masters in Economics from the University of Hyderabad. He has worked at HSBC Bank in India and has taught at the Central University of Karnataka and INEB Institute in Thailand. He is a former summer research fellow at Columbia University and Bergen University. So on behalf of our Boston Study Group, I extend a warm welcome to all of the wonderful and admirable panelists we have and the moderator for this session. Welcome to all of you.
Thank you, Sujata, for the kind words. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Boston Study Group and the organizers for this opportunity, and welcome all to this, I would say, historic session, because never in my lifetime I attended a session where the experiences of people are being shared. So let me now introduce the panel members. So we have Dr. Pallavi GK. She's pursuing her Masters of Public Health International at University of Leeds in United Kingdom. She holds a bachelor's degree of Nature Cure and Yoga from Medical College and Hospital in Mysore. She's the former assistant professor at Nature Cure and Yoga from Medical College and Hospital in Mysore. She works as a mentor all over India, giving support to SC and other Bahujan students in their medical education. Then we have Mr. Vikas Tattard. He's pursuing his Master of Arts in Comparative and International Education at the Teachers College in Columbia University in New York, here in US. He holds a Masters in Dalit and Tribal Studies and Action from the School of Social Work from the Tata Institute of Social Sciences in Mumbai in India. We have the third panel member, Ms. Sushma Darshanala. She's pursuing her master's in business analytics at the University of the Pacific, Stockton in California, here in US. Before we begin with the sessions by the panel members, let me briefly give an introduction. So welcome to this panel. If you look at the statistics, as per the United Nations Human Rights Council, at least 250 million people still face the dehumanizing discrimination based on caste. And about half of the historically caste-oppressed communities, especially Dalit Bahujans, are still living in poverty, and 60% of Dalit children are chronically malnourished as they continue to live in multi-dimensional poverty. Given these statistics, caste needs an epistemological examination. A renowned French philosopher, Michel Foucault, says that the basis of human knowledge must be direct experience. Hence, caste is not just a social category, but a category that has been epistemologically neglected in the social science and policy discourse, unlike race and gender in the US. Given this neglect, there is a need for a critical debate through intellectual honesty by exploring the underlying structures of dominance and resistance from institutions such as caste. The renowned philosopher and the activist from India, who is fondly called as Baba Saheb, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, not only waged the war against caste and untouchability, but also brought to light the social facts of discrimination, questioning the epistemological basis. Dr. Ambedkar not just stopped it questioning the knowledge, but eventually institutionalized the affirmative action and other social inclusion policies to break the barriers of caste. Thus, Dr. Ambedkar says, education is what makes a person fearless, teaches him the lesson of unity, and makes him or her aware of his rights and inspires him or her to struggle for his rights. If you look at the US, as per a study by University of Pennsylvania, the oppressed castes of South Asia, known as Dalits, form only 1.5% of all Indian immigrants. Given these statistics, there is, I believe, there is a urgent need to, question the epistemology and talk about the experiences. Given this short introduction, now I invite Dr. Pallavi GK to deliver her comments. Thank you.
Good morning. JV, am I audible?
Yes, you are, Pallavi. Go ahead.
Yeah. JV Namabuddhaya. Very good morning, my dear friends, elders, and whoever joined today. I'm delighted and elated to be a panelist for the today's session. Before starting my talk on my struggles, academic challenges, and the barriers which I have faced and which I have been facing it, and let me contribute some quotes to Baba Sahib. Baba Sahib, you are in our genes, you are in our blood, you are in each and every marginalized people thoughts. We are privileged, powerful, and radiant because you were the sunshine and the light of our life. I'm proud to speak in front of you all today because of the Baba Sahib and the blessings of my parents. So thanks for giving an opportunity, the organization and the everyone. I would say my thanks. So here, myself, Dr. Pallavi, I born and brought up in a small village called Gagenahalli, which is near to Mysore, Karnataka. Today, I'm speaking in front of you all because of my parents' blessing. Let me tell you about my parents. They have been working in the farm and also they sell mangoes since my childhood to till now for their bread and butter and to feed us and also for my brothers. I am nothing without my parents. I'm proud of my parents because they didn't even study first standard, but they made us to learn, empower, educate, and to be more humanized in this casteist and narrow-minded society. I started my primary school in Kannada medium because we didn't have an English medium school in my village. During my primary school, I was the topper from first standard to till 7th standard. I cleared Moraji exam. It was for a residential school education in the city. I was afraid to leave parents to join, therefore I didn't take that opportunity. I won a gold medal in the essay competition and I was good at a debate and I was the CM because we had a ministry at the school. I became the chief minister when I was my 7th standard. And then I was taking care of my complete school. And I was so much there competent and powerful and like good debater, competitor for the other people. So there I started my journey. Then after seeing all my progress, my parents, they decided to join me to English medium school, which was away from my village to Mysore. Like it's a 45 kilometers away from my village to Mysore. I didn't had a proper buses every day to go to Mysore. So then the parents, they decided me to join in the government hostel. For my fortunate, I got a hostel, like, SC, ST hostel and the OBC hostel. Then I got admission at the Mysore school. Like life was not like, cakewalk. there I didn't had even a bed and cot, and I didn't had even hot water to take a hot water shower since my till 8th standard to till graduation. So life is not a cakewalk if you were born and brought up in a marginalized community. So that was the not only one thing I faced. And then I got a first class in my 10th standard. Then parents again decided to continue my education by seeing the progress. Then I joined to science, like, physics, chemistry, mathematics, and the biology I studied. Then for my fortunate, I got a good CET ranking. Then I got into medical school. It was not really so satisfied. I was like, I didn't had money to join the tuition, as the, like, in a previous session, the students mentioned, even though same, the challenges I also had, because we didn't had a money to pay for the private tuition and to join the private colleges. I didn't have that opportunity. I studied by myself, and then I made it to happen. Then I got a medical seat, and then I joined. So that was then there, like, the new transition from a small village to medical school that happened. Then I made it to happen. So again, the challenges which was had, like, it was not easy, but I never ever gave up, because I want to become a doctor. I wanted it to happen. My mother had, like, the dream that my daughter should become a doctor. So I never ever wanted to disappoint, because they struggled each and every day to give her education. So again, I joined the BCM hostel. So there, I didn't had again bed and cot and the hot water shower to take. Like, for 5.5 years, I stayed in a BCM hostel. I used to sleep on the floor. Like, I used to share a small room. We used to, like, 5 to 6 members, like, TCH and the engineering students, diploma students, and the medical students. I was the only one girl who lived in a BCM hostel, when my friends, they used to stay in a private hostel, because I didn't had a money to pay for the private hostel. In the sense, like, I was supposed to pay every month for the medical hostel. I didn't have that opportunity to be with them in the marginalized or privileged people. So I lived in a BCM hostel, and somehow with all the challenges, I did complete. And then when I was studying my medicine, I was very good at my studies. I got my first class in first year, and then the second year also I got a first class, in the third year and the fourth year also. Like, my whoever the professors, they realized that I have a capacity. Then I got an opportunity to work as a Yoga Dasra coordinator. I worked with the Mysore Yoga Dasra. It's like, world famous Yoga Dasra. I got an opportunity to work as a Yoga Dasra coordinator for 2 years. So then the journey was like, it was highlighted. Because why I'm stressing this, I was the first person to get an opportunity to become the Yoga Dasra coordinator in the Mysore. Then I was conducting a number of events, like, ASHA workers, then the ZP people, then the ministers and the teachers and the politicians everywhere. I was the taking care of those activities, like creating the awareness about the yoga, nature Q, and the other Ayush system. I was working over there. Then I became the public figure. They, like, I used to meet the press people every day to inform that what is the event I have been conducting over there. So I got a good network when I started working as a Yoga Dasra coordinator. Then I never ever compromised myself in academically also when I was working with all these curricular activities. Then I completed my studies, and then I joined to my internship. Then I finally I completed those medical days in a good manner, like, then immediately, for my fortunate, I got a job as an assistant professor. This is the new era again, new transition in my life, because those who completed a medical, they waited 8 to 10 years to get a job as an assistant professor. But for my fortunate, I got immediately after 6 months of my graduation as a contractual assistant professor in the medical college. I was the youngest assistant professor in Karnataka. So, like, it was not a cakewalk again. Like, everyone was used to get jealous. Then how come this small girl can become an assistant professor in the medical colleges? They used to start creating groupism over there, and they used to create separate department for them. They used to sit together. They started annoying me by mentioning that you came through the reservation, you got a job through the reservation. The damn, I got my job because I had a good percentage. Those people didn't have a percentage. So I got into that job. Then again, like I was teaching the community medicine and then the forensic medicine toxicology. I was teaching the modern subjects, even though I studied nature cure and yoga, because no one was ready to take those subjects and to teach. I was teaching those subjects. Imagine forensic and medicine toxicology. It's a not easy subject, and I was teaching for the medical students and undergraduate students, and it was not really smooth and the soft days, because my principal was from upper caste, and she used to annoy me. Even though I was working very hard to teach those subjects, she used to annoy me and comment me, and she used to put some absent also sometimes. If I go late 5 to 10 minutes, she used to put me absent. But if my other colleagues come even half an hour later, she used to put a present. That was the discrimination I have seen over there. And then one more thing, for my fortunate, I was good at treating a patient. I was teaching, I was diagnosing and I was treating a non-communicable disease, obesity, hypertension, cervical spondylosis, then the lumbar spondylosis, polycystic ovary disease, knee joint pain, and those things. I was expertised in treating those cases. Then when they realized that, people realized that I was treating, and when the people used to start coming to meet me for the treatment, my colleagues used to tell me that even though I was in the department, they used to tell that Dr. Pallavi is absent. She is not there. So these were the challenges I used to face. Then when the patient used to call me and tell, ma'am, are you in the not department? We were waiting outside. Then again, I used to go and treat the patients. These were the challenges I had when I was working over there. And even though I was good at, my principal always hindered me to give an opportunity. When the Independence Day comes, when the Republic Day comes, or whenever the graduation ceremony comes, I was not in the front line. I was always in the back line, because they used to give a priority to the upper caste people. So always they try to hinder me. But I never ever gave up, because I had a determination that I should reach my target, what I want to become. So, and then again, the financial challenges, why I joined as an assistant professor, I'm going to tell that the same thing. I had a financial challenges. I didn't had a money, more 8 to 10 lakhs to pay for the medical education, like in the masters, MD in yoga or MD in nature cure. So I gave up that dream and I started working. Then I realized that without masters, it's not a good decision to work as assistant professor. Then I took an exam in Rajiv Gandhi University in the Masters of Public Health department. I got selected over there. Then I got selected into Central University of Hyderabad. Then I met a friend. Then he recommended me that I have a capability to come to UK. Then I prepared for my masters. Then I got my masters in the UK, world best university for a public health. It is having a 10th ranking. Today I am here because of I organized into our organization. He introduced me to Global Empowerment Network. Then I started talking to our people more and to start learning from them. Then they made me, in a lot of challenges I had, financial challenges. While making a visa application, they supported me financially. I should appreciate it. Because of our people, I'm here today. And when I came over here also, they supported me a lot. And so when I came here, I got an opportunity to visit the British Parliament to attend the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and the Equality Day. And also here the South Hall MP honored me because of my work. And like that, I never ever gave up myself, even though I had a financial challenges, even though I had a challenges of discrimination and the casteism, because I had a strong determination. And also my parents and my brothers always encouraged me to achieve what I want to be. Like, I haven't achieved so much, but I left my small village, where there is no proper bus facility, there is no English medium school, but I left those things and I came over here today. I am speaking in front of you all, and I'm telling my stories. So this is like, if I can do, you all can do. Those who are listening to me, if I can do, you all can do. Everything is impossibly possible. So we have our example. Our great Baba Sahib is there, because he didn't even had a flights. We people have a flights to come over to the abroad. We have a hostel. The Baba Sahib didn't had even computer. We people have a computer. So the thing is, if we give excuses, we are the loser. So never ever try to give examples. I mean, never ever try to give the excuses. So take a responsibility. Everything will be impossible. So this is like, my key message is love all, trust few, but be the one. But always try to be the one in any sector. And I think I am like, as a lecturer, I can speak for 2 more hours, but the thing, I should stick on to my time. I hope my time is done. Once again, thanks for giving an opportunity. You are all very lovely people. And I am here because of you all. I am because you are all. Thank you for giving an opportunity, Anna and Boston Study Group and everyone. Thank you for listening me. Thank you so much.
Wow, such a very powerful and emotional and traumatic presentation. Thank you, Pallavi. I now invite Mr. Vikas III to deliver his talk. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Mahesh, for inviting. And also I want to thank Dr. Pallavi. She inspired us in our initial stage and gave us energy to speak in this platform. I also thank to Dalit Solidarity Forum who organized this event, Hindu for Human Rights, AIC, and BSG particularly, and Dada Sahib who decided to bring us to in this kind of platforms, because we never used to have we used to talk in front of our people and in our platforms in locally, right? But this is the first time, as Mahesh also said, this is our worldwide platform where we are sharing our experiences. We can share a philosophical thoughts like our whatever we study and whatever expertise we have, but sharing our own experiences in this kind of international platform is opportunity we have. So first of all, I want to thank all of you, and also want to Jai Bhim everyone, because that Jai Bhim only give us a power, and that's the only word we use and make ourselves comfortable everywhere. So yes, so so I also Dr. Pallavi said we can talk about 2 hours, but we have a limited time. So I will share my own challenges, and then I also give how I came to Colombia, how I prepared, and what are the challenges and what I did particularly. So if you think about if you see me and those who see me, they never say ki Vikas will be. So I also don't believe sometimes I am in Columbia University, because it's a dream. It's not only dream. So my professor, Dr. Ramanga used to say, it's a sapne ko bhi sapna girega, hai na? That dreams also dreaming. So that stage, yeah. So that's the stage which I am here is like a very dream to dream. So this kind of dream I tried not achieved, but I'm here where Baba Sahib Ambedkar studied. So that's the very privileged thing I have. So if you see my family background, that was not good. So we used to live in a very called slum area, where you can't find the toilets. You have 5 toilets for 5,000 people, and very congested roads. You can't even drive a bike from my route. You have to come by walk if you want to reach to my home. So, and sanitation, no one, the sanitary workers, they used to come like twice or thrice in a month, or sometimes once in a month, to like make a roads clean and other things like done. So you can see the whole atmosphere is like a dirty kind of stuff. Secondly, you will see the alcohol, what you say, shops in most of the gullies. Gullies means the avenue. We have here the avenues, and we can see the bars, the everything, but we have illegal bars in our own slum area. So that, and also the gambling spots, and then violence, and lots of things we will see on the daily basis. And we are also like born and brought up in this kind of situation. And where I'm living is like, that place is also like, when I was childhood on 6th standard, 4th 5th standard, that time my father and my mother, they migrated to city, and we just made a tent in a slum area. And that also, most of the time the municipal corporation come and they just try to demolish it every time. But still, like, we fought, our community fought, and they won the court case, and then we got our own land. So this kind of situation I'm came from. So if you see my education in this scenario, so my father and my mother both wanted to like give us an education, but of course, as Pallavi said, we have a financial constraint. And my sister and my younger brother, with three, we were taking the education in English medium school initially. But when I was in 4th class, that time we struggled with the financial resources, and then my father decided to like give education, English medium education, to one person, and two people they can study in government schools. So my father decided to give education, English medium education, to my sister. And then we both, my younger brother and I, like went to the Marathi medium school. And then I completed my whole like 10th standard, till 10th standard I completed my schooling in Marathi medium school in the regional language. And then till that time I was like everywhere. I was not a academic kind of person or very readable person. But in 9th standard, what happened is I attended a workshop where the Dhamma teaching and other morality and values and regarding Buddha and Baba Sahib, they introduced me as a text, as a knowledge. Before that, we used to see Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar in on street, like people used to give us slogans and other kinds of like inspirational quotations and all. But I never used to read them. But 9th onward, I started reading Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar. And when I realized that this is a powerful text and that can emancipate all of us, so then I started working with slum area, with our whole community, and we initiated a program called Sunday Vihar. So where we organize all the community members, and we used to organize events on Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar's teaching. So we had sessions on caste in India, annihilation of caste, and then way to emancipation. So whatever their books are, we just gave a speech on it. We prepared it, and our children's also used to give a speech on that particular topic. So that's how 3-4 years I worked with them. But that time what happened is, like, from my community itself, people started starting abusing, or you can say abusing, or you can say they were started ki Vikas is good in social work, but he's not good in professional life. So he's making our youth useless. So that, and I heard that words from one of the senior person, and I was behind him. He don't know I was there, and I just listened that, but I didn't take that as a threat to me. But I just realized that yes, he's whatever he said is true, because I'm making, like, I'm working for society, that's true, but I'm not developing myself. And when I revisit the Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar's text, then he said that you should you should develop yourself and also work for the society. So it's an individual development plus social development, that is called the overall development. And then I started preparing for Tata Institute. I entered into Tata Institute. Lots of challenges, because language is the first challenge I faced. Still now I face problem while talking in English. So the English fear so embedded in my body and in my mind that I decided to drop out from my first month of TEAS. Like in the first month I said, no, I can't read this much of text, I can't write anything, so I will just drop out. So I decided that, and I packed my all the stuff, and I just wanted to go back. Then I called one of my friend, he's a good friend and he was in Germany, and I did a WhatsApp call, and one line he said, if you go back, you are the role model for your society, so no one will dare to come to TEAS if you go back. So that line bring me back, and I decided not to worry or not to make a fearful. I'll do a hard work, and also I will use my own strength. So my strength was I was singing lok shairi songs. So Sambhaji Bhagat and other Sheetal Sathe and other the singers I used to follow, and I started singing that. And from that singing, all the 1000 students in masters, they all know my name as a Lok Shahir Vikas. And then I also contested for election, and I won the election as well as a literary secretary. And in this literary secretary position, I got a fund, because I didn't had so much of funds to me, but then they gave me 5 lakh rupees fund, and they said, like, you can organize whatever you want. So that gave me a power and the position where I started organizing events on Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Jayanti, of course, Shahu Maharaj Jayanti, Savitribai Phule Jayanti, and others. And then I shifted, and then in 2018, how I came here. So Boston Study Group and University of Massachusetts, they organized one conference on race and caste. And that time I submitted my paper along with my friend, and that paper got selected, and they offered me traveling and other resources, and that make me come here. I got a 10-year visa. And then I decided like to visit Columbia University. We came to Boston, and the Columbia University distance was like 6-7 hours, and we don't know anyone here. But I just came here. I just visited Columbia University, and fortunately, my friend from TEAS, she was living here, and she hosted me in Columbia. And when I saw the Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar statue in Columbia, and that time I decided to come in Columbia University. And I applied lots of university, but that the Columbia was the only target I have decided that time, like in 2018. And I started preparing for that. In between, I also worked with government of Goa in education. I was a school evaluator, where I evaluate almost 80 plus schools in with Goa government. And then afterwards I got a promotion, and they gave me a chance to evaluate schools across the nation. So I visited Northeast, South, and most of the Maharashtra part. So that opportunity gives me to realize that the caste is a main problem in education system, and it's not me who has this kind of underprivileged or unresources. You are not equipped as other have that facilities and privileges. So that helps, like that make me realize. And whenever I used to face a challenge or face a fear, that time I only person I see is Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. Whenever I feel bad, I just visit Dr. Ambedkar's text, and that text give me an answer for all the problems. So till now I'm facing of issues, of course, in academics and other cultural problems, financial constraints and everything. But I never see myself as a as Pallavi said, as a loser. I always see, okay, whatever will happen, I'll take a loan if I have a financial constraint. If I have a language issue, I will read a lot. If I have an assignment issue, I will approach most of the people and try to learn from them. If I have problem in presentation, I will try to give lots of presentation. So whatever problems comes, I try to tackle it. And whenever I feel sad or depressed, then that Dr. Ambedkar's text always helps me to come back again and struggle again and fight against all these problems. Thank you.
Amazing presentation, Vikas, all the way from the slums in Mumbai to the United States. Thanks for sharing, such very emotional and, deeply traumatic experiences. Now, I invite our third speaker, Sushma, to deliver her talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Maheshna. Hi, everyone. Good morning. I'm Sushma Svenu Darshanala. I'm studying business analytics, the master's degree at the University of the Pacific, California, and I'm also recently appointed as a student ambassador for the University of the Pacific International. And I have studied my bachelor's degree at the St. Francis College for Women, Hyderabad, which is a missionary college. And I did my bachelor's in biochemistry, chemistry, and computer applications. And after completing my 10th grade, I joined in Telangana Social Welfare Residential Education. And then I moved to St. Francis College. And then I got an unexpected opportunity of US exchange program called Community College Initiative Program. So joining in Telangana Social Welfare Residential Institution and getting an opportunity to participate in US exchange program made my life whatever I'm today. So the one opportunity made me to come back to master's degree again after 5 years, irrespective of my background, my financial status, and whatever it is. So the only thing that I learned is networking and grab opportunities. This is the only thing that I have learned. So how Ambedkar ideology worked in my life. So I haven't seen him, but I read his books. I heard from the intellectuals about him. But what made completely different is there's a person who read the books on Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and ideology, and Savitri Jyotiba Phule and Ghanshiram and a lot of other intellectuals around the world. So he formed an organization called Sveros, where he helped number of students, like almost like lack of students, to go for their higher education, to cross the borders of the country and to cross the borders of their villages, because many of them come from the slum areas and their financial status is not even to travel from one village to another village. So little bit about Sveros. Sveros means sky is the limit, and it has 10 commandments where it boosts the students when you lack of motivation, you have no one to support. It just boosts the students from themselves. So it's not only the students, but whoever likes the ideology of Sisveros is generally a payback and following the ideology of the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Savitribai Phule, and all the intellectuals. So what made is they support the students of the marginalized sections or from the Telangana social welfare institutions. They give an opportunities around the world. So that's one is CCIP. So like there are like almost like 15 students who has participated in it. And there is another program called Yes program. So irrespective of breaking all the caste and the financial status, we could able to make it to US to study for an year for free, which is of no cost from starting from the process to until end of the program. So we don't have to pay any penny for that. So then my only suggestion for the students is go and get the opportunities, like explore the opportunities, explore the network. I think nowadays networking is a major thing that plays a vital role in one's life, because everything is technical and everything. I mean, like if I have to compare to India, recommendations work a lot. So if you come from a powerful background, then you have no way of looking back on what you want to pursue. But when it comes to us, like the students from the marginalized communities, they have to break a lot of boundaries. So the only thing is opportunities. There will be like opportunities comes in two ways, I believe. The first thing is unexpected, so we have to learn from that, and the next opportunity comes from the unexpected. So the unexpected opportunities gives a way on what to do further. So then you create your own opportunity. That's what I believe. So I would like to share the same to this fellow students also. And talking about the caste, I think I haven't faced so much in my life because I've studied in the missionary schools and it has no space for caste. But when it comes to home, just like one of the students mentioned earlier, like when you are in the village, you have to stand and you have to bow your hands and do something when the upper caste people visit your home. But that was for a short term because I didn't stay home for a longer time. I have to stay in the school and college. So, but it plays a major role in the person's life, the caste, but it has to be broken in various ways. So I believe education is the only way that we could break all the barriers that we have. It could be caste, it could be religion, it could be poverty or the discrimination socially, whatever it is. Education is the only weapon that could be break all of these challenges in life. So I have very short story to share, but I just want to conclude it with the blessings of my parents, my friends, well wishers, and everyone who supported me in my journey. I would like to extend my gratitude for them because coming to California and study for a person like me is impossible because I'm an orphan. I had to fight orphanism rather than casteism in my life. So the good thing is I got an opportunity to study for free in even in the private institutions. That's the blessing of my life. So I would like to thank everyone who supported me to come to US and pursue my master's degree because I have no rupee when I came here recently. It's been 5 months that I'm here. So everybody, like, the network helped me, the Spheros or the Boston Study Group or the people from that or from the NRIs from US and other countries, everybody contributed their financial support to me and they made my way to be here. So I would like to suggest for the student, I also guide the students on coming abroad for US and on visa interviews, GIA, IELTS, and whatever I learned, I just pay back it to them. So whatever about I suggest for everyone who reaches out to me is just don't give up. When the idea clicks in your mind, just go with that because it's a lifetime opportunity where you have to break all your boundaries, either be it your financial status, poverty, or whatever you want to achieve in your life. This is the only opportunity. So irrespective of finance or you don't have any support, just go with that. Go with the flow, do all your things in your genuine passion, and then the rest comes in your way because I believe there's still humanity alive in the world. So they will be coming to you to help you. So just go for it to break all the boundaries for the future because it's not just you who is going to benefit. You're going to be the blessing of your family for the next generation, just like Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar had been for us. If he wouldn't been or read the constitution, I think the SC, ST, VC would be somewhere else. I don't think our generations would have been continued so far. I think we would be no more in the world if he couldn't come into the picture and write the constitution. So by this, I would like to conclude and extend my gratitude to Boston Study Group and Hindus for Human Rights for giving me an opportunity to share my journey. And I think it made a line that the students have to find out their opportunities and not give up irrespective of what it is until the last minute. So thank you for giving this opportunity.
Thank you, Sushma. Really such a very, inspiring journey, I would say, coming from a orphan family all the way to California is not it's historical indeed. And thanks for sharing all your insights on your own journey, experiences, and the way the community of Ambedkarites helped you, supported you, and the way you are paying back. That's very important. With this, now I open the session for the question and answers. If you have any questions, please unmute yourself. You can type the questions in the the chat box here. Thank you.
I think the chat box will come, or those who have any question, they can raise the hand. Just I wanted to tell you that in a two seconds. While doing the education, and like as Sushma and Pallavi said, they are also working for society. They are giving contributing in society, and they also used to guide students, those who want to apply for foreign education. So try to connect with them and be with them. You have any queries, any problems related to applications, contact to them, and they are very helpful. I know personally Dr. Pallavi, she helped me a lot in the initial time, and we used to discuss our worries, because you need people like share your worries as well, right? So Dada Saheb, Pallavi, and Mahesh, Bhau, and Sushma, all are like here to help. Like I benefited from all of our people. So try to join us, and don't hesitate to ask any question. We might not have a good answer for all the questions, but we try to deal with it.
Yeah, so we have, thank you, Vikas. We have one question from, so there is a question in the chat box. It says, we are seeing a growing movement for protections against caste discrimination in American universities. Could you share your thoughts on the importance of caste protections in the diaspora and how we can support this movement? This question is from Nikhil. So I invite Vikas and Sushma, who are based in US, to briefly talk about this.
Yes,
Vikas,
thank you. Yeah, I feel it's very important question in world diaspora. I can see the movement are happening, and lots of organization like the Dalit Solidarity Forum, Boston Study Group, ANA, AIM, AIC. There are many organizations who are working in this platform, but I feel it's insufficient movement, because here most of the stories, whatever you heard, is kind of lacking of resources, right? When I came here, my visa got rejected 4 times. Why that visa got rejected? Because I didn't had a money in my account to show, and every time I get a answer from the visa officer saying your scholarship is insufficient. You don't have a sufficient money to come go to India, go to US. So in that kind of situation, if this organization can help us or help our community to come here, to bring them here, so mobilizing the resources, I feel, is the most important part they can do if they want to work for this community. Second thing, organizing this kind of session. So this is an online session. Why I came, like how I came here. So Boston Study Group gave me opportunity to present a paper in 2018. That means a lot, and that make me to come here. So if this organization can organize in-person events here and call people from ground, those who are working on ground and want to take a study, bring them here, take their the people who are already studying in a good places, already did a good studies in English medium school, they are already expert. If you are calling them, in and how they will come. But the people on ground who are working as a social activists or social workers, they never be come here because they feel they don't have financial resources and other things. If this kind of this organization help us to make people like us to come here and support them in all their resources, so I feel so that's the thing I feel like they can do.
Yeah, thank you, Vikas. Sushma, do you have any comments on this question?
Yeah, as Vikas said, it's the lack of resources, because when we are behind the people of upper caste, it's like we give them a chance to discriminate or underestimate and all. So we just have to break everything and grab all the opportunities. And it's really very hard for the first generation, but the efforts that we put will help the next generation to get into the equality with them. So I think it's all about the opportunities to protect our caste or protect our self-respect, whatever it is like individually to person.
Yeah, thank you, Sushma. Pallavi, do you have any, do you witness any kind of caste protections being implemented in the universities in UK? Do you hear, caste and discussion around caste
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, it's like, very sad thing to say. I had a batchmate back in India, like he's a dentist here. And I had one more batchmate. They were from India. Whenever the time comes, they used to take a privileges. They used to mention the guards in the in the lecturing session, giving an example, like, Hindu guards, which is not at all related to the education. They were, wherever they go, these upper caste guys, they carry their caste. They never ever give up the caste. They so-called educated, but they don't want to educate themselves in the terms of a caste. They want to carry. It's like, the genes like that. Even I had faced those challenges. Then I did stop talking to them, because I don't want to hurt myself, or else I don't want to disturb myself, because I left India to be away from the casteism. Here, if I want to face the same challenges, why I have to be in the UK? Why I have to get my higher education? See, it's like, we have to face till our death this caste. It's never going to end. We have to take the responsibility how to react to them, how to overcome from them, how to show what we are. Because if we don't show what we are educated, we are empowered, we have all the knowledges. Compared to them, we are better in working hard. I have seen how they manipulate and make us to work in the, like, sewage or scavengers, or else, manual workers. Why we have to give that opportunity? Why can't we take that in a positivity? Why can't we study? Why can't we take a job? Why can't we come up ourselves? So it's all our excuses. I would say it's there, but the thing is, we are also giving a chance them to rule us. So we have to improvise, adapt, and overcome from all these challenges. This is what I would say, because I don't want to give excuses in my life. The same thing, I don't want our people to give excuses in their life.
Yeah, thank you, Pallavi, for responding to that question. I think we are already at 10:40 now, and though so Brother Dada Sahib, you have a question. Can you please brief your question? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mahesh. And thank you, Pallavi, Vikas, and Sushma, for sharing your inspiring stories. And really, like, it would be like very instrumental for anyone from our community to look at you and follow the journey what you have followed. So with this, like with your stories, learning from your stories and understanding and putting it into the current context of India, like education moving toward privatization and we lacking resources to access those education. Like for you as one of the person, or one of the, like, for the people who have went through that journey of support system from state or any other community and all that, and in future our kids are not going to get that kind of, or like we can see potentially they're going to lack that kind of support. So what suggestions you have for government and for other NGOs or any other person committed to work toward community and like making education accessible for them? Like, what suggestion you have for in the current scenario in India, what they should work for?
Yeah, thank you, Brother Dada Saheb. So any of the panel members would like to respond to this question? Yeah, Vikas, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's very important question, because when I say like I came also from the community where this all we lack the resources and all, and we always depend on government resources, right? And from when the constitution give us a right, until now we are dependable. Right now also I am dependable on government's opportunities. So that's the one thing I feel it's important to always fight or advocate, do advocacy with the government, try to embed policies which are friendly. Like in previous session, that one point came into the light, that there is a need of caste sensitization program for all the schools and colleges. So right now, like I feel like in US, whenever so they have policies for eradicate the race, and the teachers behavior affect a lot, because they know if I do something discriminatory in colleges, in schools, so they might face the consequences. But in India, you didn't have that kind of policy. So first of all, I feel there is a need of creating a policy which is a caste sensitization policy, where all the teachers know how to handle the caste in classroom. So that is the policy intervention, I feel. In terms of resources, so we have a budget every day, like every year we have a SCST budget, and lots of many organization working on that, but still that fund is not utilized in their full sense. So how we can utilize that funds is important in that thing. So with the government also, of course, we need to work with government and do the advocacy for our to mobilize resources from the government. But second thing, I feel there is also need to mobilize funds from our own people and those who want to contribute for the society. So private sector is growing up, and it will goes. And that's why Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar also established his own colleges, Milind College and Siddhartha College, by forming a People's Education Society. Why should we not? Why should we create a spaces, schools, colleges, bring our own private colleges, bring our own private schools? That gives you like, and give 50% reservation from Dalit and tribals and OBC community. And right now, of course, we don't have that much funds, but creating a one organization or one company. So now we can see the chain of schools like Poddar, Somayas and others. Why should we not able to create a chain of public schools where all there is no discrimination happening, all the quality education can be given? So I feel like people, and the responsibility comes on people who are living in US, UK and other countries, because they have a money, they have a resources, they don't do anything. Don't do anything in a sense, they can provide suggestion, they can provide technology, but one thing which we are lacking is a money. If they give a money, not to the individual, but for the system, like all the district, like in all district we have one Navodaya Vidyalaya where you can see the quality education is happening. Why should we not create in all the district at least one school or a one big apartment kind of school where we can accommodate people and we give them the quality education? So we also need to work for our own, like creating all the school and colleges. And third thing, I feel we also need to make a collaboration with all this government as well as private sector. So if we can create a project and ask capital people like other investors to invest money into the education thing, because everyone is talking about, like Bill Gates will talk about education. He says like education is an investment and everything. So why should we not create a collaboration with them and ask their investment in our company, where we can lead and we give the content, we teach our student how to and we can accommodate others also. So I feel like working on all the layers is important.
Yeah, thank you, Vikas. I think our time is almost over, but I would like to give like 1 minute to Pallavi to respond to this question.
Yeah. Actually, when we were talking about the education, I would like to recommend your. We have a Federation of Ambedkarite and a Buddhist organization. There are people who really want to open a school, like, Buddhist missionary schools, Ambedkarite missionary school. They are very much eagerly open-minded, and they wanted to collaborate and to implement a Buddhist missionary schools back in India in each and every district. There are projects are working actually. I would like to introduce you all the people who are really working to collaborate with them. I'm happy to share their contact. And also, I would like to say, are we really participation in the political system? Are we really utilizing the reservation? Whatever the Baba Sahib is already given to us. We are not utilizing the reservation politically. We are not using the power. Let us use the fund, whatever is already there in the political system. Let us work on it. Let us think about it. And we have to grab those opportunities. We have to take that responsibility to participate in the political system. Also, education. Let us educate, let us agitate, let us organize ourselves first, then comment others. So let us work on more ourselves. Let us improve. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Pallavi. There are some questions in the chat box about how do we pursue PhD, PDF, and what percentages and restrictions are in abroad. Please reach out to our email IDs, that we shared in the chat box. We will be able to help you. With this, I would like to thank Dr. Pallavi, Mr. Vikas III, and Ms. Sushma Swero for joining on in this panel, and it was truly, I would say, it's a historic, powerful, emotional, traumatic, inspiring, session. And despite of all the arts that you guys gone through, hailing from slums, orphanages, and village, and local language backgrounds, with all the institutional discrimination, you still see the possibility, and still you are optimistic, and you still continue to say that love all and never give up, and everything is possible. I really love your spirit, and very inspired to lead this session. With this, I would like to close this session. I don't know, the organizers have any last comments? Thank you. Can we close the session? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mahesh, and to all of the panelists for that really powerful closing session. My name is Nikhil, and I'm the Advocacy Director with Hindus for Human Rights, one of the co-sponsoring groups for the conference. And I just want to offer very few concluding words for the weekend. So on behalf of all the organizers, I want to thank our amazing student speakers. Over this weekend, we heard from 17 students, from middle schoolers all the way up to PhD scholars from across India and from the diaspora as well. Thank you so much for sharing your stories of courage and resilience with all of us. And thank you to our keynote speaker, Mr. Bezwada Wilson, whose work has been an inspiration to all of us. We wouldn't be able to show you all of the student testimonies without the help of our media partner, Paigam in Delhi, who edited and subtitled the videos. So thank you so much to the Paigam team, to Akriti, Nandini, and all the editors. I would also like to thank our moderators, Mrs. Kalaivani, Mr. Prince Gajendra Babu, Professor Sambalar, Mr. Mahesh Admankar, and Vivian and Sujata from Boston Study Group, as well as our translators, Mr. Samuel, Ms. Sheetal, and Mr. Satya. We wouldn't have received these powerful student testimonials without the assistance of amazing grassroots organizations in India. Association of Rural and Urban Needy, National Youth Equity Forum, Lokmanya Samiti in India, and of course, Boston Study Group, who put together our final panel with graduate students from the diaspora. So please consider supporting our Indian partners with a donation. You can go to DalitSolidarityForumUSA.com. We'll send the link in the chat shortly as well. We are really delighted that this conference was co-sponsored by such a diverse lineup of organizations, including the International Commission for Dalit Rights, Dalit Solidarity Forum, Indian American Muslim Council, Ambedkar International Center, India Civil Watch International, Boston Study Group, All India Dalit Mahila Adhikar Manch, Ambedkar King Study Circle, and Hindus for Human Rights. I'd like to thank the members of our core organizing team for this conference, including Roja Singh, Dada Saheb Tandale, and the whole team at Boston Study Group. And of course, thank you to our amazing conference coordinators, Tabitha Prashanti and Diksha Udupa, who worked so hard over the last few months to make this happen. And last but not least, thank you to all of our audience members, for all of those who joined today and for yesterday as well, for being part of this historic and really eye-opening conference. The recordings of both sessions are both on YouTube. We will send everyone the links through your email so you can share it with your networks as well. And please join us on Thursday for the very last session of this conference, where we'll be screening Mardati, an Unfairy Tale, an award-winning Tamil film, which really showcases a lot of these dynamics that our panelists talked about over the weekend. So with that, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekends, whether that's evening in India or the rest of the day here in the United States and UK. And thank you again for being part of this historic session.
Yeah, last thing, please feel free for for me, I'm happy to pay back to society at any time. I'm here for our people, for the upliftment of our people. So I'm happy to be part of it. Thank you so much for giving an opportunity. See you all. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Nikhil. Thank you, Rozaka.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And thank you, Mahesh Bhai. It's very nice. You coordinate very well. Yeah. I thought like we should listen to you instead of like people listening to us, because you have a good experience and knowledge in the field of education particularly.
I mean,
so we should
what all you
organize.
said